Sign up no matter when your current plate renews, and the first year is complimentary. All you need is your VIN number on hand. Drive awareness, drive hope, and customize your plate today at atease.org.
The Underwood Elementary School in Lauderdale County is being closed for the next 2 days due to the high level of sickness and the subsequent absences among students as well as staff. The school will be closed for Tuesday and Wednesday, with sanitation taking place and then open back up, presumably on Thursday. An inmate has died within the Trussville City Jail. The inmate has been identified as Keandra Forbes. She was found unresponsive in her cell on March 2nd and was taken to UAB Hospital in Trussville. She was then pronounced dead hours later. The Jefferson County coroner, William Yates, tells WIAT News that an autopsy will be conducted to determine cause of death. He says there are currently no signs of trauma or foul play in this case. I'm Andrea Tice.
For more news affecting Alabamians, go to 1819news.com. And while you're there, subscribe to the daily newsletter.
Whether it's AC or heating or plumbing that you're needing, whatever you require, call Lou Choir. Since 1983, we've treated you like family. Day or night, we do things right so you can live more comfortably. Whether it's AC or heating or plumbing that you're needing, whatever you require, call Lou Choir right now.
This is your roving reporter. Today I'm talking with a man from outer space.
What's up, Earthling?
I see you've landed your spacecraft over there in that field.
That's right, man.
My question is, why have you landed here on our planet?
I came to see David Ernest.
The asset preservationist?
Yeah, man. I wanted to see if he would take a look at my portfolio for me.
Well, before you make the trip over there, call him on his toll-free number, 833-596-7233.
And I understand those last 4 digits spell out the word safe.
That is correct.
Funny thing happened the last time I came to Earth.
What was that?
I went to the Walmart, man.
Yes?
And I accidentally went in the back door.
How did that work out?
Well, they stopped me and very gently told me that I needed to go around front and come in.
And then what did you do?
I said, cool, man. Take me to your greeter.
You flew millions of miles just for that.
Hey, man, I don't ride them. I just read them.
Hey, this is Troop with Fairland Jewelers. I've been advertising at Blue Water for going on 3 years now. Since starting advertising at Blue Water, we have seen our business grow exponentially. And if you would like to see your business grow, I suggest advertising at Blue Water Broadcasting.
Radio reaches over 90% of everyone in the river region. Shouldn't your ads be out there where your customers are? Call us to find out more. Blue Water Broadcasting. Local folks helping local business.
When it comes to your mortgage, who you work with matters. And this is one decision where local makes all the difference. Don't fall victim to flashy mailers, spam calls, or 1-800 lenders who don't even know your name, much less your neighborhood. Those lenders are often sitting in some faraway state, reading from a script and chasing volume, not relationships. A local lender understands the market you live in, or should I say that we live in. At Alabama Home Mortgage, you can look at us in the eye and trust us with one of the biggest financial decisions you'll ever make. Local lenders don't disappear after closing day. Our reputation is built right here, one family at a time. So before you pick up the phone and call a stranger, remember us, Kim Williams and Madeline Cannon at Alabama Home Mortgage. You deserve guidance from someone who knows the community because they're a part of it. Give us a call at Alabama Home Mortgage today at 334-567-4223 or visit us online at myalabamahomemortgage.com. That's Alabama Home Mortgage, because there is a difference in mortgage companies. NMLS 1586368, Equal Housing Lender.
The views and opinions of the following program are solely those of the host and other contributors. These do not necessarily represent those of Liberty Acquisitions 825, Blue Water Broadcasting, its management, staff, or any advertisers. It's time for Montgomery's conversational radio show. It's News and Views on News Talk 93.1 FM. To join the conversation, call 272-9228.
Joey Clark.
Welcome into the program, folks. I want to kick off the show here. We have a great guest joining us on the phone in just a moment. But Governor Kay Ivey announced this morning, Tuesday, that she has commuted the death sentence of Charles L. Burton, many who call him Sonny, commuted the death sentence of Sonny Burton to life in prison with no chance of parole. Of course, Mr. Burton was convicted and sentenced to death for the 1991 capital murder of Doug Battle in Talladega, Alabama. Governor Ivey issued the following statement, quoting the governor, "I firmly believe that the death penalty is just punishment for society's most heinous offenders, as shown by the 25 executions I have presided over as governor. In order to ensure the continued viability of the death penalty, however, I also believe that a government's most consequential action must be administered fairly and proportionately. Doug Battle was brutally murdered by Derek DeBruce while shopping at an auto parts store, but DeBruce was ultimately sentenced to life without parole. Charles Burton did not shoot the victim, did not direct the triggerman to shoot the victim, and had already left the store by the time the shooting occurred. Yet Mr. Burton was set to be executed while DeBruce was allowed to live out his life in prison." The governor goes on to say, "I cannot proceed in good conscience with the execution of Mr. Burton under such disparate circumstances. I believe it would be unjust for one participant in this crime to be executed while the participant who pulled the trigger was not. To be clear, Mr. Burton will not be eligible for parole and will rightfully spend the remainder of his life behind bars for his role in the robbery that led to the murder of Doug Battle. He will now receive the same punishment as the triggerman. The murder of Doug Battle was a senseless and tragic crime, and this decision does not diminish the profound loss felt by the Battle family. I pray that they may find peace and closure." Again, that is Governor Kay Ivey. And thank you, everybody, for all the prayers and everybody working behind the scenes to bring this to the governor's attention, to make the case, especially the daughter of Doug Battle. And joining us now, because there are only a handful of people in this state who have actually had to make such a decision, former governors. And so joining us now, we have former governor of Alabama, Don Siegelman. Sir, how are you this afternoon?
I'm both blessed and grateful.
Amen.
Can you hear me okay?
Yes, sir.
Yes, I count my blessings, and hopefully as grateful as my blessings are to me. So, but I want to say first that I admire Governor Ivey's courage and her wisdom and her understanding and belief in God. I'm sure that while much of what led to her decision to commute the sentence of Sonny Burton was based on what you just described about the injustice of executing someone who did not commit the murder, while the person who did commit the murder was ultimately given a life sentence. But I also believe that God has touched Kay Ivey's heart, and that's not to say that she's suddenly soft on crime, because she certainly is not. But I do want to offer my praise and gratitude to the governor for her wisdom and for her understanding that with justice also comes mercy. It reminds me of a quote from Shakespeare that is something like this: that mercy falls like rain from heaven. It blesses those beneath. It is an attribute to God himself when a king or a governor who has the power to show mercy, and when they do, it's an attribute to God himself. So anyway, I thank Kay Ivey for her wisdom and for the judgment she used to commute the sentence of Sonny Burton.
Amen, amen, amen. And I will tell the audience we were prepared to continue to make the case for mercy to be shown, but indeed it is droppeth as the gentle rain from heaven upon the place beneath. And it's, I think, a great decision by the governor. But for folks who, because I was trying to weigh this as not like judging, I was prepared either way for this decision to go, because I think it's just talk about a heavy responsibility that somebody who is elected governor of the state holds. What is this process like when you were there as governor of the state of Alabama? What goes into this process when these cases are presented to a governor?
That was an excellent question, because it leads to the exposure of a flaw in our system. There were 8 people who were executed during my term as governor. I'm not proud of that at all. And as Governor Bentley and I said in a Washington Post editorial some years ago, that if we had known then what we know now about the flaws in our justice system, we would have commuted the sentences of many people like Sonny Burton. One of those during my term was a man named Freddie Lee Wright. Like Sonny Burton, the evidence eventually, after 26 years, came out that proved that he was outside of the building where the murders took place. He knew nothing about it. The person who actually did the killing ended up getting life in prison and got out, while Freddie Lee Wright was prosecuted, convicted, and sentenced to death, and ultimately executed for a murder that he did not commit. And the problem that governors face is that normally petitions for clemency come about in the last days before an execution takes place. And so your legal staff has to scramble to try to put together the facts to present to the governor so that the governor can make a logical and just decision. The problem is that after 30 years or 20 years, as the case in Freddie Lee Wright, 26 years, the facts dribbled out over a couple of decades. It came to light that when the district attorney saw that there were a number of blacks on the jury, that he retried the case and struck the blacks from the jury. It turns out that the only witness was a disgruntled old girlfriend of his. And there was other evidence, including the investigator, who said he strong-armed witnesses to get them to point the finger at Freddie Lee Wright. And none of this was known, and had it been known to me at the time, in March of 2000, I would have commuted the sentence to Freddie Lee Wright. But none of this information was made available until years later. So if there was a way for an independent review commission to look at and gather all of the information that is available, whether it's legally time barred or not, the governor would have a more complete picture on which to make a decision.
It sounds like something like that is needed, because was it unusual, in at least your understanding and experience, to have the amount of push to commute the sentence of Sonny Burton, that this has not happened for many over the past few decades, that just the arguments, as you said, drips and drabs of facts come out over decades at a time, and if you don't have the proper folks putting together the whole story and telling the story, that a governor might miss that.
Absolutely. And not every petitioner has the resources or the attention that Sonny Burton had, or have a lawyer like Brian Stevenson, who is able to put together those kind of arguments for people that he represents. And, of course, he was supporting the commutation of Sonny Burton's sentence as well. So, things have changed over the years, and fortunately for the better.
Now, do you still believe, for one reason or the other, could be experience, could be faith, do you still believe in the death penalty for the most heinous cases, and personally?
That's a hard question to ask me, and I'll tell you why.
Yeah.
After I was convicted of something that only happened in the minds of the prosecutors, I knew that the system was flawed and it could be gamed. And I actually, at that moment, looking at the judge and the jury, said a quiet prayer asking God to forgive me, because I knew that the people who had been executed during my term had faced the same justice system that had just convicted me for something that never happened. And having some time, about 5 years in prison, to think about this and research it, I found that in 1976, the Supreme Court gave absolute immunity to prosecutors, even when they knowingly and willfully present false evidence, false testimony, or withhold exculpatory evidence that might likely lead to the acquittal of a defendant. They cannot be sued for this. That was in 1976. And then during President Obama's term, his lawyer, the Solicitor General, argued to the United States Supreme Court that United States citizens do not have a constitutional right not to be framed. A shocking statement coming from the president's lawyer, who is now in the Supreme Court. Her argument was that because the court in 1976 had granted prosecutors immunity from being sued, that even for willfully and intentionally framing somebody, that it was hands off. You couldn't sue them. In this case, it was McGee and Harrington suing the prosecutors in Pottawatomie County, Iowa, and the investigators. It came out that the police found a suspect, but he was white, and he was a friend of the police department. So then they went to a young felon and made a deal with him that if he pointed the finger at McGee and Harrington, that they'd cut him a deal on his sentence. Later, all this came out, and after these two black teenagers spent 25 years in prison for a crime that they were framed for, the president's lawyer argued to the Supreme Court that they didn't have a constitutional right not to be framed.
Wow.
So, with that in mind, and by the way, that is still the law in the United States. President Obama, President Biden, President Trump, no one has repudiated the argument that the Solicitor General made to the Supreme Court in 2010. Clearly, no American citizen should be framed for a crime they didn't commit. But in this country today, you cannot sue a prosecutor, even if they go into a grand jury, which is secret, where there's no lawyer present for the target, no judge there as a check on truth. A prosecutor can present false evidence or withhold exculpatory evidence and get an indictment and charge someone with a crime they didn't commit. Now, I want to relate this, and I know I'm taking a little bit of your time,
all right,
Joey, but the Death Penalty Information Center studied death penalty cases from 1976 forward. And they found that for every 8.3 people executed in the United States, one person has been exonerated. meaning that we have gotten the cases wrong about 12% of the time. Of those people exonerated, 70% is based on prosecutorial or police misconduct. Of those people exonerated for misconduct, about 80% are the same color as Sonny Burton or Freddie Lee Wright or DeForest Johnson, who faces execution for a crime he didn't commit. So with those facts in mind, it's difficult for me to say that I favor the death penalty. What I do favor is truth and justice. But first, in order to feel more secure with a death penalty verdict, I think we need to repudiate that 1976 decision of the Supreme Court that gives prosecutors free rein to present false evidence, false testimony, or to withhold exculpatory evidence in order to get an indictment or a conviction. If we held prosecutors accountable when they willingly and knowingly try to frame someone, I think then we could feel comfortable in saying, yes, the death penalty is appropriate in the most heinous situations.
That makes a lot of sense to me. And I guess we could close with this, because I know that people come down on different sides of the issue because they do care about justice with murder, felony murder, and we could go down the list of crimes where somebody might come up for the death penalty. But in general, also just wanting to be, tough on crime and the deterrence effect. So for those today who are maybe disappointed with the governor's decision, disagree, what would you have to say to those folks?
Let me bring up another example, and then I'll close. But we have 27 people on death row who were sentenced by a judge to death, but the jury recommended life without parole. 4 of those were unanimous decisions by the jury for life without parole, but the judge overrode those decisions and sentenced these 27 men to death. The Supreme Court, the United States Supreme Court, has said that is unconstitutional because we have a right to trial by jury, and only a jury can determine the facts warranting death. But yet we still have 27 people on death row in Alabama who face a death sentence based on an unconstitutional process that was outlawed. It was banned in the state of Alabama in 2017. And one of the things that Judge Governor Ivey said that resonates in this discussion that we're having right at this moment is that the law needs to be consistent. And if you're not going to execute people today or beginning in 2017, where a judge overrode the jury's decision, then how can we justify executing these 27 men whose sentences of death were handed out by a judge, and it's clearly unconstitutional and unlawful now? So for consistency and for a deterrent to really work, the law has to be consistent.
I hear you loud and clear, and it does sound like there are a lot of cases. It's easy. People forget. We move on with our lives, and, cases that you might have read in the headlines 20, 30 years ago, it always sticks with the victims of the crime and the folks intimately involved with these situations, but the rest of us tend to move on, and I think we forget, even though we have updated laws and updated court rulings, that there are some folks that have not received, let's say, the justice or the mercy of those updates. I think the point is well taken, and I really appreciate your time today, sir. And thank God that I thought this was more going to be you and I doing a last plea to the governor, but to get this great news this morning, well, God, thank God.
Yeah, thank God, and thank Governor Ivey.
Thank you, Governor. Well,
yes, sir.
Appreciate you, sir. Again, that is former Governor Don Siegelman here of Alabama, and appreciate his time. And yes, for folks just tuning in, the Governor Kay Ivey, has commuted the sentence of Charles Sonny Burton to life in prison with no chance of parole. He will remain the rest of his life in prison. And the key of why the governor said is because Doug Battle was brutally murdered by Derek DeBruce while shopping in an auto parts store, but DeBruce was ultimately sentenced to life without parole. Charles Burton did not shoot the victim, did not direct the trigger man, DeBruce, to shoot the victim, and had already left the store by the time the shooting occurred, yet Mr. Burton was set to be executed while DeBruce was allowed to live out his life in prison. She says, quoting Governor Kay Ivey, "I cannot proceed in good conscience with the execution of Mr. Burton under such disparate circumstances. I believe it would be unjust for one participant in this crime to be executed while the participant who pulled the trigger was not." So I appreciate Don Siegelman's time, and Byron Sheehy here in the studio with me. How you darn today?
Man, Joey, I was not expecting that. That was a lot of content that I didn't have on my bingo card this morning when I sat down. I mean, I did not see the governor doing what she did, and God bless her for doing it. I made a comment to you off the air a couple of days ago. Governor, you got a legacy in my book. Thank you. I mean, that was...
thank you, Kay.
That was a very humane thing and just. I mean, the punishment should fit the crime, and by my account, it didn't. I'm glad you saw it the same way. But yeah, a lot of stuff from the former governor in there that was, some.
Oh, I think it's fascinating. The long and short of it to me is there's a lot of, I think, reasonable question of the current system. A lot. Mm-hmm. And it should be considered accordingly by people in the legislature, people within the legal system. And we'll see. I know there are arguments. There are always, especially in terms of the law, arguments, and not just both sides, every which angle that you might think of. But.
Try to put a little levity on this. I didn't think I'd see Democrat on Democrat crime and Siegelman talking about Obama's role in everything.
That was kind of crazy. I did not know about that, what he just told us.
I didn't either.
That you don't have a constitutional right not to be framed by a government prosecutor?
It seems like you should have that somewhere.
Yeah. Like the government has a lot of authorities. They shouldn't be able to lie to you and do all sorts of things. But, we know that in, like, common language with the FBI. They can lie to you. You can't lie to them.
It's hard to lie to 12 jurors also. Thank goodness we have that system.
Well, we got to hit a break here, and we'll get into all sorts of stuff. Of course, updates on the war. The Iran war, and I think it is a good signal, good news. Trump yesterday saying it's going to be short term. It's pretty much complete short term. So I'm continuing to pray that the war will be, the beginning of a very long-lasting peace in that part of the world, and it could bear amazing fruit if that, in fact, occurs. Now, the common knowledge is, that part of the world is just always at some problem.
But some are saying it's already over. Some are saying.
Some are saying.
Some are saying.
And we got all sorts of stuff to get to today, but I just want to again say thank you to Kay Ivey. Thank you, Governor, for your decision. This part of the program, before we hit this break, brought to you by Montgomery Men's Health. And, I'm sure you've met a fella or two that's, doesn't seem themselves anymore.
Why are you looking at me?
Hey, I didn't mean it that way. Well, you're the only one in the room.
You wouldn't be wrong, though, Joey.
But they're Montgomery Men's Health. If you're feeling wiped out when you wake up in the morning, that waistline's creeping, your confidence in the bedroom slipping, you're losing muscle mass, just everything's off. You don't have that extra gear you used to be able to throw into, to get a work project done or to do that all-nighter for whatever reason. And so if you're feeling this way, I know a lot of guys can feel like, it's just me and I can't talk to anybody out. No. You're not the only one dealing with this. For a lot of guys, whether it's ED or low performance in the bedroom, or it could be just general problems with low testosterone, there are solutions there at Montgomery Men's Health, powered by Men's Pro. They're a men's performance clinic that's been serving Montgomery and the surrounding areas for years now. It's in-person care where you actually get to know folks. It's not like these, online pills or just throwing generic stuff at you. No, they can get your labs done quickly, and with their urology-backed medicine, they can create personalized treatment plans for wherever you are in life. In fact, a lot of guys, they really can feel the low T and other issues, 50s, 60s, and I know for a fact there are a lot of guys that age that went over to Montgomery Men's Health and they feel decades younger all of a sudden. Confidence is back in the bedroom and just in life in general. More energy at work, hitting the gym again. Like, they feel like a man again.
40-year-olds need to get in before it hits them at 50.
Exactly right. Get ahead of the game. Call up Montgomery Men's Health today at 440-3663. That's 440-3663. Or you can always book online in under 30 seconds at montgomerymenshealth.com. Montgomery Men's Health, for every man in every season of life.
He may not know whether he's coming or going, but whether you're going to work or coming home, Greg Budell is there. Mornings, 6 till 9, and afternoons, 3 till 6. Only on News Talk 93.1 FM, WACV.
Good afternoon. It's Jay Scott for Blue Water Broadcasting with our Warm Hearts for Seniors supply drive, the final week of this drive. So if you are looking to donate any of these supplies that we're looking for, like fans or meal replacement shakes, cleaning supplies, blankets, things like that, now's the time to do it. We are at Southern Metal Supply in Prattville today. That is 383 GNS Road. I'll be here until 1 o'clock today taking your donations in person. But if you can't make it here during this time, then anytime after that, you can drop off. Or if there's a different sponsor location that's closer to you, please feel free. Drop off there as well, or even at the studios at the radio station there on off of Carmichael Road. We're collecting supplies for the Central Alabama Aging Consortium. They help seniors live independent and productive lives here in the Montgomery, Autauga, and Elmore County. So you are literally helping your friends and neighbors. We're here until 1 o'clock today at Southern Metal Supply in Prattville, 383 GNS Road. Come out and see me. I'll be here until 1. Jay Scott for Blue Water Broadcasting.
Join Blue Water Broadcasting for Warm Hearts for Seniors. We're teaming up to collect badly needed supplies for the Central Alabama Aging Consortium, serving seniors and disabled adults across Autauga, Elmore, and Montgomery counties. Drop off items like cleaning supplies, blankets, fans, meal replacement shakes, stretch bands, and stress balls at Riverside Chevrolet, 4270 U.S. Highway 231 in Wetumpka. Catch us live on location from March 2nd through March 13th. Let's show the River region what warm hearts can do. Visit us at bluewaterbroadcasting.com and help us make a difference today.
Yes?
Yeah, I'm Bill. You called about some breakers tripping?
Oh, yes, Bill. My brother-in-law says you can do almost anything.
That's me. Not much I hadn't seen.
Do you really want someone who does almost anything in your electric box? Think about that, because each year thousands of home fires are caused by faulty wiring. That's why you want a professional, like the electricians at Crosby Electric.
Bill, how's it going? Bill, ooh, are you okay?
Oh, yeah, well, I didn't really need my eyebrows anyway.
At Crosby Electric, all technicians undergo rigorous safety training, as well as background checks, drug testing, and continuing education.
Bill, you think maybe I should call a real electrician?
No, these little slip-ups happen. Everybody does it.
Really?
No, not really. When you need professional electric work, or you just like someone to assess your home for safety, call the experts at Crosby Electric, 272-2085, or visit us at crosbyelectric.com.
Hi, this is Bo Goodson with the Real Estate Minute. Many of the real estate laws have changed recently, and you need to know how this might affect you as a seller or a buyer. As an agent of the seller, the agent owes undivided loyalty and full confidentiality to the seller. The listing agent can recommend repair services and vendors, pricing guidelines, tips to help get your house in selling shape, and negotiate offers and counteroffers for your benefit. A facilitator, which is the new term, cannot suggest a price or counter or recommend anything. They offer very limited services. A buyer agent solely represents a buyer's interest and can recommend mortgage lenders, down payment alternatives, and can suggest an offer price and write an offer. Whether you are selling or buying, you need someone in your corner that's trained to represent their clients. After training over 15,000 agents throughout the state and help create and close thousands of home sales over 4 decades, get the straight information from Bo Goodson at the Goodson Group, 221-2883.
Rich Thomas Weather is brought to you by Wiley Sanders Truck Lines.
Go to work for a family that puts God and family first. Wiley Sanders is looking for experienced dump truck drivers. Call them today, 855-777-9785. Drive for Wiley Sanders Truck Lines and be part of the family.
Rich Thomas Weather.
Well, hi, everybody. Get ready for another very warm day today with temperatures probably heading for the mid-80s again. We'll say partly sunny today and mostly cloudy tonight. Overnight low temperature down to about 64. On Wednesday, one more day in the middle 80s before a big temperature drop. The risk of scattered showers and thunderstorms will be increasing by late afternoon and becoming likely by this evening and tonight. Some of the storms strong, possibly severe. All modes of severe weather possible, including maybe some tornadoes. Then much cooler air follows with the high temperature only in the lower 60s on Thursday. I think we may be in the upper 30s on Thursday night. From the Blue Water Weather Center, this is Rich Thomas.
Budget Floors and More has the best prices. Carpet as low as 69 cents per square foot. LVP starting at $1.29 a square foot. Sheet vinyl as low as 65 cents per square foot. And the lowest prices on flooring installation supplies. Budget Floors and More across from Delray Publix.
News and talk without the static. The River Region's most trusted voice. News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
Joey Clark.
Welcome back. I'm your host, Joey Clark. Byron Sheehy in the studio with me, and Madeline Cannon will be joining us about 10 o'clock or so from Alabama Home Mortgage.
10, 2.
I think she might be able to stay the whole time.
You said 10.
Or, excuse me, at 1 o'clock. I'm still, the show used to be from 9 till 9. Yeah. 9 to noon. Oh, such an original name. Let's go to Simpler Days. Hey, Simpler Days. How you turn?
Hey, Joey, I got to agree with Governor Siegelman. There is an unbalanced playing field, and especially for police officers, because the judge has judicial immunity.
Mm.
The prosecutor has judicial immunity, but guess who doesn't have immunity?
The police.
The police. And so everybody can claim, immunity, judicial immunity, and the police officers only got low-level qualified immunity, threshold immunity that's not worth the paper it's written on. But the pendulum swings both ways in this, Joey. I mean, just like the case up there in Fairfax, Virginia, where the lady was sitting on the bus stop bench waiting to go to work on February the 23rd, Stephanie Minter, 41, and this illegal alien comes up to her and stabs her to death. And the police had warned Fairfax County Commonwealth's attorney about this individual on multiple occasions and said he was a threat. And for whatever reason, they decided they weren't going to charge him. The Department of Homeland Security said that the individual had reportedly lived in the United States illegally and urged cooperation with immigration and customs enforcement. The same report stated that Department of Homeland Security linked the individual to more than 30 arrests in recent years, and he had no address, and he was living on the streets. And see, they won't be held accountable for that because they have immunity. So like I said, the pendulum can, prosecute too much or not prosecute.
Oh, no, I think
I guarantee
we definitely have a problem with I think there is too much leniency, especially on very severe crimes, and it takes forever. Now, I get there's the other side of this if you want the process to be truly substantive due process. But there is a massive problem when in particular, police are cowed into not actually enforcing things, or say, the police, a particular officer does want to enforce and do well, and the district attorney in his area disagrees. These are, I think, massive problems. And even on the death penalty, I still believe there are reasons for the death penalty in principle. It's all a matter of building these systems and doing them in a way that's, well, I was about to say efficient, and then I just think about how government is in general, and what a mess. It seems like for all the stuff our government does, federal or, say, the state of Alabama, like the basic function of government, I would say, is to be that night watchman and do it in a way that protects people's liberties. And we continue to drop the ball in a way in that regard while we have the government doing everything else.
Yeah, I mean, there needs to be a check and balance, and just like, Governor Singleton said, that DA can take a grand jury any way he wants to it and get anybody indicted. But just in closing, there'll be no protest for Stephanie Minter. There'll be no closing of a federal agency for her. Her name won't be infamous as Miss Good's name, and she wasn't committing a federal felony of obstruction. She was sitting on a bus stop waiting to go to work,
right,
victimized by someone that's not supposed to be in this country, that a prosecutor knew he was a dangerous individual, and they wouldn't prosecute him. Have a good day, Joe.
Appreciate it, Simpler.
Was that prosecutor elected? Do you know?
Which
I don't know.
I don't know. Well, I appreciate it, Simpler. Yeah, I don't know.
I mean, I'm just wondering how much of the public will.
Most places DAs are elected, right?
Right.
Yeah. Most places. Sometimes you get occasions it's a vacancy, somebody's appointed. But
so the governor couldn't automatically remove if they chose to not listen to the local police and take a menace off the street like that.
I get it would depend. You would get into the minutia of state law, the particular jurisdiction you're in, and what a governor or a higher authority could do. I think there is a pattern, though, of very light on crime district attorneys getting elected in a lot of places. Or you think of Irina Zarutska,
Mm-hmm.
and it's not just the prosecutors. Look at the judges, and they're showing too much leniency. Like I don't know how many times on the show I've ranted about, like, yes, we should be very, 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 we should treat individual rights as sacred, but there are times where it seems like, to quote the great Right Reverend Monsignor Bishop Fulton Sheen, we show more mercy to the mugger than the mugged, and that's an imbalance. It's a false love as well. And so, like with Irina Zarutska, that guy had been let out after doing all sorts of stuff. And you have many of these cases that never even hit the headlines because you don't have video with it. You don't have, and that's why Renee Good got a huge story. It's why Irina Zarutska, of course, the awful thing that happened to Charlie Kirk, or what happened to George Floyd, or go down the list of folks that end up being these folks in the media. It's because you got video. It's because, I hate even to say this, you have sizzle. Mm-hmm. You can do a news story on it. It catches people's attention. And think of all the folks where there is nobody filming. It's small town, maybe. Like, nobody knows your name. And that's where this gets really hairy. Anyway.
I just kind of feel like the more blue, the more lenient, the more red, the more overbearing, probably err on the side of too much justice. And I think it probably mimics the electorate.
Perhaps. I think it's a balance that can be struck. And the only person that can strike that balance between justice and mercy truly is God. But, we are called to build up just societies.
May you touch our hearts.
Amen. And it's, I'll put it this way. We're rough on ourselves. It's kind of this idea, because we care about this stuff as a society, and even the tough on crime people do care about this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what's interesting. When stuff happens to you, whether you're on one side or the other, you could be liberal as the day is long and all this stuff, and one of your family members gets killed. It maybe changes your perspective a little bit. And you could be tough on crime and all this stuff, and then you're wrongfully prosecuted, or you think the system is now corrupt in a certain way. So people wake up to this stuff. But it's because we in the West care about liberty, God-given liberty, care about actually getting this right, and we should care that I think sometimes we beat ourselves up. Are there a lot of mistakes? Are there a lot of problems? Yes, and that's what we're going to debate and talk about in this imperfect thing called governance. But when you look at other parts of the world, or you look at, heck, the history of this nation, we're going in the right direction. Maybe it's not fast enough for some folks. Maybe it's teetering or tottering to one side or the other, too much in a given situation. But hold dear and thank God Almighty for this rule of law that we do have.
Still better than anything else on the menu, right?
Yes. Like, it could be a lot worse. That's no excuse for failure, but it's just sometimes we need to understand some perspective on these matters. And that's always the most difficult thing. You take something in principle, and how do you actually put it into practice when you got flawed human beings? Judges, prosecutors, the public defenders, legislators,
it's almost like
governors, AGs, nobody's perfect. So this is just the nature of what we do.
It's not going to come from us. It's going to come from him up on high, right? Amen.
We can appeal to that. This part of the program, got to hit a quick break, brought to you by James Cole Plumbing. We go from talking about praying to God Almighty for grace and wisdom in these matters of justice and mercy, and now we're talking about your plumbing problems. If you got a drippy faucet, a running toilet, like it just won't stop every time you flush it, they can fix those little problems like that for you. Or it could be you got a garbage disposal that doesn't work, it stinks, like you need a new one. They can replace that for you. Or it could be you got a massive problem, like a big old leak inside or outside your home. Well, Cole Plumbing has the proprietary pipelining technology to solve that problem with minimal discomfort to you and your home without having to dig up a huge hole in your yard or tear out a bunch of drywall inside just trying to find the leak. No, they can do it with precision and expertise. And, of course, they can also help you upgrade to, say, a tankless water heater system or a taller toilet, nicer toilet. Yeah. Any new accessories, bathroom, kitchen, they got your back there at Cole Plumbing. See, I'll check them out today. You can always make an appointment online at coleplumbing.com or just call them direct at 279-8919. That's 279-8919. And just remember, folks, when you have trouble with your balls,
call on Cole, Joey.
We'll be right back.
Want to carry News Talk in your pocket? Download the News Talk 93.1 app from the App Store. Available on iPhone and Android. Never miss a moment. Download now.
Good afternoon. It's Jay Scott here until 1 o'clock today at Southern Metal Supply of Prattville, 383 G&S Road, 383 G&S Road. It is our Warm Hearts for Seniors campaign. You got a little less than an hour to go here to drop off your supplies right now. But afterwards, this place is still open. You can still drop off if you're driving by, or if you're near any of our other sponsor locations, you can drop off there during regular business hours, even through the rest of the week. Doesn't even have to be today, but it is the final week of our collecting these supplies for the Central Alabama Aging Consortium, helping seniors live independent and productive lives here in Autauga, Elmore, and Montgomery counties as well. We're looking for things like meal replacement shakes or exercise stretch bands, stress balls, blankets, fans, things like that, cleaning supplies even, that you can drop off. Now, if you need more information about this, just go to any of our station Facebook pages or our website, and you can find out more about how you can help donate for Warm Hearts for Seniors. Once again, I'm here until 1 o'clock at Southern Metal Supply of Prattville, 383 G&S Road for Blue Water Broadcasting.
For too long, Alabama's statewide news companies have shamed us for our conservative Christian values. Alabama deserves a news company that cherishes our culture, a company that isn't bought and paid for by the powers that be. 1819 News is that company. Run by Alabamians for Alabamians, 1819 News celebrates what is good and beautiful about our state, while exposing those who work against our values in secret. Just go to 1819news.com to learn more. Subscribe to our newsletter. That's 1819news.com.
Don't you love the feeling of coming home to a clean house? Let Southern Bell's Cleaning Service get your home in order. Families in the River region trust Southern Bell's because they know Callan and Jesse will show up on time and believe in cleaning the old-fashioned way. They bring all their own supplies and specialize in full-service, residential, commercial, vacant properties, and construction cleanup. Estimates are always free. Call Southern Bells today at 546-0715 or follow them on Facebook at Southern Bells Cleaning River Region.
Join us tomorrow from noon to 1 at Premier Portable Buildings, 1690 South Memorial Drive in Prattville for our Warm Hearts for Seniors supply drive. Drop off much needed supplies to benefit the Central Alabama Aging Consortium.
The River Region's first and only news talk station on FM. Live, local talk. News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
Joey Clark.
Welcome back. Now, we will get to the war updates. Trump did quite a press conference yesterday evening, and then, of course, this morning, I believe Secretary of War Hegseth and General Kane, Chairman of the Joint Chiefs, gave a thorough update as well. We can get to some of that. Also, did you see, and this is the top trending story at 1819news.com right now, but Morgan Murphy drops out of the U.S. Senate race, and he endorses Barry Moore, and he's now exploring a U.S. House run. And either the district now being represented by Shamari Figures or Terry Sewell, or, I don't know, he left it even more vague than that, in my humble opinion. So it makes me wonder about what courts are going to do at the Supreme Court level about districting. So here is what Murphy says. Murphy vowed to help Republicans maintain their slim 4-seat margin in the House, stating, "I plan to flip a blue House seat right here in Ruby Red, Alabama," saying the United States cannot afford to lose the House and spend the next 2 years of President Trump's administration battling radicals on the left who care more about nursing their Trump derangement syndrome than they do about the country or our state. Alabama could redraw congressional district lines again soon, depending on the timing and decision from the United States Supreme Court, and I believe it's Louisiana v. Calais, which is expected by early summer. And last year, I was calling my shot. I think this is Clarence Thomas has been wanting to write this majority opinion, striking down this particular interpretation of Section 2 of the Voting Rights Act. He's been on this for, again, 30 years. He's been wanting to write this for a long time, and I think he's about to do it. The key might very well be Brett Kavanaugh. So we'll see. Maybe they don't do that. But even if they don't, you could look at Congressional District 2, again with Shamari Figures, or Congressional District 7, long been represented by Terry Sewell. And qualifying has closed for 2026 races, but could be reopened if the Supreme Court finds, quote-unquote, race-based congressional redistricting unconstitutional and opens up a path to a 7-0 Republican congressional map. By the way, if the court does rule that way, you're talking about a massive change in not just American politics, but Alabama politics. Massive.
Yeah. You see what was the guy in California, Colley, or whomever it was, that received Trump's endorsement last time, and all of a sudden now he's switching parties because they redrew the map. Poof, just like that, all those conservative ideals and values.
Mm-hmm.
Probably should start calling that California conservative.
Yeah. No, it's a big tent, and there's a lot of different types of folks under that banner of Republican. No, heck, that's the case here in this state, in many ways.
Oh, I mean, it's almost like, does it matter sometimes, right?
Right. Anyway, before we hit this top of the hour break, this part of the program brought to you by Josh and Leslie Ryder there at Dillon Rings. And today they're on the Book of Faces. Dillon Rings has a Leslie Ryder inventory spotlight. For today, the spotlight is this created by Josh 18-karat diamond and aquamarine ring. Regular price is $3,250. On sale for March babies for $2,500 until March 31st. Heck of a savings right there. There is only one of these rings in stock, truly unique and available at this special limited time sales price. Get it before someone else does. If you are a March baby and you are looking for what is a beautiful, stunningly beautiful, shimmering and shining ring for what, over $1,000 off the regular price, get by Dillon Rings. Stop by there at 119 Brown Springs Road, right here in Montgomery, just off of Atlanta Highway. It's kind of like you're going to AUM off Atlanta Highway, but, where the old Fun Zone used to be, right there in that little strip center. You'll see Dillon Rings there on 119 Brown Springs Road. And when you stop by, be sure to tell them that Joey and Byron, those fellas on the radio, sent you. We'll tell you more about them coming up later. And, I keep teasing Josh, and I might have to stop by this afternoon because I have something that I want custom done in mind now.
You told me about that.
Yeah. I think it's starting to formulate exactly what I want. And so I might have to see you this afternoon, Josh.
I might have to go with you.
Anyway, y'all stay tuned. Second hour coming up.
Broadcasting from the Riverside Chevrolet Master Control Center, this is WACV Cusana, News Talk 93.1 FM. When it's Chevy, it's Riverside.
With SRN News, I'm John Scott. The Iran war enters its 11th day as its effects felt across the region and beyond. War Secretary Pete Hegseth again promised the most intense strikes yet. Iran's leaders ruled out talks and directly threatened President Trump. Iran launched new attacks on Israel and Gulf Arab countries. Israel, America's key ally in the fight, launched more airstrikes on Tehran and in Lebanon, where it's battling the Iran-backed Hezbollah. Alabama Governor Kay Ivey commuting the death sentence of a 75-year-old inmate who was set to be executed this week, even though he was not in the building when the victim was killed. Ivey reduced Charles Sonny Burton's sentence to life in prison without possibility of parole. Burton had been sentenced to death for the shooting death of Doug Battle during a 1991 robbery. This is SRN News.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm, and Chuck McDowell, definitely not an attorney. This is Chuck. Do you feel stupid for buying a timeshare? Don't. It's not your fault. You were most likely told you could rent it, and it was a great financial investment. And the deal was available today only. If this happened to you, contact your resort or Wesley Financial Group for help today.
Call Wesley now for your free exit information kit. 800-242-3131. 800-242-3131.
You spent 30, maybe 40 years building your retirement. Are you about to watch it take a hit you can't recover from? Military escalation in Iran. The U.S. dollar under pressure it hasn't seen in years. Advantage Gold is offering a free gold investment kit and a free copy of economist Ken Rogoff's powerful new book, Our Dollar, Your Problem. Call Advantage Gold now at 800-900-8000. Don't wait for the next surge to wish you had moved sooner. Results vary. Consult your financial advisor before investing. Call Advantage Gold at 800-900-8000.
Rich Thomas Weather is brought to you by Alabama Wholesale Lumber. It's more than just great prices on lumber. From Trex decking to energy-efficient windows and Tamco shingles, Alabama Wholesale Lumber has it all.
Rich Thomas Weather.
Well, hi, everybody. Get ready for another very warm day today with temperatures probably heading for the mid-80s again. We'll say partly sunny today and mostly cloudy tonight. Overnight low temperature down to about 64. On Wednesday, one more day in the middle 80s before a big temperature drop. The risk of scattered showers and thunderstorms will be increasing by late afternoon and becoming likely by this evening and tonight. Some of the storms strong, possibly severe. All modes of severe weather possible, including maybe some tornadoes. Then much cooler air follows with the high temperature only in the lower 60s on Thursday. I think we may be in the upper 30s on Thursday night. From the Blue Water Weather Center, this is Rich Thomas.
Feeling the pressure of high credit card rates? ASE Credit Union has you covered with a low 1.99% APR on balance transfers. Move your balances in March or April and lock in that 1.99% rate through your October statement. Visit ASE Credit Union today. Federally insured by NCUA. Terms and conditions apply.
From the Blue Water Broadcasting News Center, here's today's top stories. Testimony is now underway in the capital murder trial of Ibrahim Yazid, the Montgomery man charged with kidnapping and killing 19-year-old Anaya Blanchard. Yazid was out on bail for other violent crimes at the time of Blanchard's death, which led to the passing of Anaya's law. Prosecutors are seeking the death penalty if Yazid is convicted. The state of Alabama could be on the verge of a minimum wage increase. For more than 15 years, the state has had no minimum wage requirement, defaulting instead to the federal rate of $7.25 an hour. Senate Bill 171 would establish a state-mandated minimum wage of $10 per hour. If passed into law, SB 171 would take effect January 1st. A Montgomery shooting case from last year has been upgraded to a homicide investigation following the death of the victim. The incident happened November 24th in the area of Shepherd and Grove Streets, where 57-year-old Ted Blake was shot. Blake recently died of his injuries while still hospitalized. Suspect and motive remain unknown. From the Blue Water Broadcasting News Center, I'm Sky Mosley.
This hour of news and views is brought to you by our good friends at Alabama Home Mortgage. Alabama Home Mortgage, 567-4223. Visit them on the web at myalabamahomemortgage.com. NMLS number 1586368, an equal housing lender.
Hey, can you blow up some balloons for Jack's party?
I can't. I'm so congested.
You need Sinex Saline from Vicks.
Sinex Saline Nasal Spray?
Yeah, just Sinex. Breathe.
Sinex Saline instantly clears everyday congestion associated with colds and year-round allergies with a gentle, ultra-fine mist that's no mess and easy to control.
Daddy, we need more balloons.
On it!
Enjoy life's important moments without congestion. Try Sinex Saline from Vicks. Just Sinex. Breathe. Use as directed.
The views and opinions of the following program are solely those of the host and other contributors. These do not necessarily represent those of Liberty Acquisitions 825, Blue Water Broadcasting, its management, staff, or any advertisers. It's time for Montgomery's conversational radio show. It's News and Views on News Talk 93.1 FM. To join the conversation, call 272-9228.
Joey Clark.
Welcome back. I'm your host, Joey Clark. Byron he is still here, but joining us in the studio, and another day where your best bud, Eddie, ain't here, but Madeline Cannon in the studio with us. How are you doing today?
I'm good. I'm starting to think he's avoiding me.
I know. But, of course, this is Madeline Cannon with Alabama Home Mortgage, folks. And, well, first off, how's business going just in general right now?
Great. As we've talked about for months in anticipation, we're getting into spring. You know, the pollen's all over the car, and it's time to buy a house. So we actually are running a fun promotion at Alabama Home Mortgage. Anybody who does a purchase with us between now and the end of April, we're going to cover the cost of your appraisal. So that's a $600 savings on your closing cost.
And give the time range again?
So from today until the last day of April.
Okay, so you got a little while, but
that's right.
I would suggest folks call y'all today.
Absolutely.
And don't let this go out of mind. Like, get on it, like right now. At least start the process. And that's the great thing, because I know there are a lot of folks who just go the kind of quick route of like, well, I'll just go to that online mortgage calculator and then I'll just do like some 1-800 number real quick. And it's like you're just setting yourself up for headaches and problems going that route.
Absolutely. So I know sometimes a lot of the search engines that people use on their home search, whether that's Zillow, Realtor.com, Redfin, all of these websites offer a mortgage calculator, but as I like to say, the big print giveth and the little print taketh away. Nobody pays attention to the little print. And when it gives you a payment, it's typically accounting for you putting 20% down. And so most people are not putting 20% down. There's no need to.
Right.
And so we always want to make sure that people are working with the right numbers when they start their home search.
And also there's stuff that people get in their heads or their friends told them, like, I need 20% down to even think about buying a house, and it just ain't true.
That's right. They've talked to their parents or grandparents who are boomers and you had to have 20% down to buy a house. And that's just not the case anymore, which is awesome. We've got some programs that are 0% down, and FHA is 3.5%. We've got conventional with 3 up to 5% down. So there's so many different options. Let us see what little money it would take to get you in a house.
And apparently there are a lot of folks just sitting on huge amounts of home equity. So if they maybe are in a tight jam, could be debt or monthly overhead or maybe you're burned through their retirement faster than you thought.
Yeah.
Like, there can be a great opportunity there with a refinance deal.
That's right. Yeah. So people are homeowners have more equity now than they ever have before. Even those that have only been in their home, say 24 to 36 months, have already accrued a tremendous amount of equity. So if there's something you have a cash flow need, whether that's home improvements, debt consolidation, putting a child through college, whatever that is, let's take a look at it and see if the money you've been looking for could just be under your roof.
Are y'all still helping out veterans with the VA?
Always.
mortgage?
Yes. We're certified veteran lending specialists. So if you are a veteran and you would like to purchase a home using your VA benefit, or you're already a homeowner, let's take a look at what your refinance options may be with a VA home loan.
Yeah, folks, get in touch with Alabama Home Mortgage. If you're even thinking about it, don't procrastinate. Actually talk to them. Now, you can't always apply online real quick, and you'll get in touch after. It's myalabamahomemortgage.com.
Yeah. So, of course, if you want to complete an application on your time, whether that's overnight or on a weekend, you can go to myalabamahomemortgage.com, and as soon as you complete that application, it comes right to my inbox, and I'll give you a call.
And, of course, you can always call them direct at 567-4223. That's, again, 334 for you Verizon customers, 567-4223. And tell them that you heard Madeline here on the show with Joey and Byron. And, you know, folks, there is a difference in mortgage companies. NMLS number 1586368, an equal housing lender. And tell Kim I said hi, too.
I will.
It's been a little while since I've seen her. So at least tell her hi for me. Now, and like, you've been following, like, this war.
Yeah, I can't help but follow it.
Goodness gracious. Now, I did like what Trump was saying last night, that short term, it's going to be short. We're way ahead of schedule. It's pretty much complete. And you're like, okay, cool. That's what I've been hoping for as soon as the bomb started dropping, that what you're going to see is essentially a second 12-day war. Now, some of the stuff is downright biblical. I was being a little dramatic yesterday, but when I see a video inside the Church of the Holy Sepulchre and there are sirens wailing about missiles overhead, that ancient place, and then you look at Iran and there's black rain falling because they hit all these oil depots to where it's literally oil is falling on your head. It's like, my goodness. Oh, and by the way, like, for Bible study, just went through the book of Esther. I think this was launched right around, if not on Purim, which the book of Esther is all about, the inauguration of that festival day, that celebration. And so you're like, this is downright biblical. I will continue to hope and pray that it'll end to a lasting peace. That said, the United States military is second to none.
That's right.
Like, the capabilities are remarkable. And there's all sorts of folks online speculating. Have you seen any of these videos where it's like a bright white light flash in the sky when certain ordnance hit? And folks are like, oh, that's just a transformer blowing up. Or everybody's got their theory. But
I haven't seen it.
But the point is, like, the average bear is looking at what the U.S. military can do, and they are once again in that mindset of, like, we don't even know. Like, after the Venezuela raid and now after this operation, it's very different than the feeling people had with the pullout of Afghanistan under Biden, or the fighting a one-year war for 20 years in Afghanistan before the pullout, or the mayhem of in Iraq, outside Iraq, back having to jump back in. And I think what happened is we got bogged down in trying to prosecute those wars, and perhaps it wasn't also being done in a very efficient way on purpose. Let's just say, look at the Inspector General report of Afghanistan and the amount of graft and just the amount of money just into that rat hole.
I don't know if that could have ever been done properly. I mean, it's Afghanistan.
Sure. It is the graveyard of empire.
When has that battle ever been fought properly, or the war, waged? I mean, come on.
Right. So,
Well, we were also on the defensive through all that, too, and I feel like we're in a much better power position with this. Now,
the question will be, after American bombs stop falling, and Israeli bombs as well, what does happen to Iran? There's already word that the Kurds have been arming up and ready to go in the west of Iran.
And huge Trump supporters at that, right?
Oh, apparently. Oh, yeah.
And they're just waiting on the nod.
And they're in eastern Iraq, northeastern Iraq, like the Kurdish areas where you still have U.S. forces stationed.
What are we thinking, like, approximation on boots, Kurdish boots that might
I have no idea off the top of my head, but you just more see these sort of reports of, they're buying all sorts of vehicles and being armed up, and they're sort of ready to go.
I got a question for you. And it was something that kind of bothered me. We know what the history of Iran was, 40, 50 years ago. I'm not so certain that Iran's education system exists today so that they understand what their nation used to be. The younger audience may just be more Islamic State, and I'm not certain that the revolution on the ground is going to be what it needs to be.
Yeah, there have been, though, a lot of reports, and it's from even like Muslim sources, that religion in Iran has really fallen off, in particular the Muslim religion. Not for, of course, the hardcore folks that run stuff, but for the everyday Iranian, you're not seeing a lot of devout, faithful folks.
Well, did you know before the 79 revolution that there were more Jews in Iran than anywhere else in the world other than Israel?
Wow.
Only second to Israel.
Wow.
So,
really?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I don't know, but that's going to be maybe the United States, and especially just everyday people in the United States, doesn't need to care about that. Really, the mission here is just destroy their capacity to cause problems in general. Now, that said, if you think about the hardened radicals, like the very radical folks who, you take away their missiles, you take away their navy, you take away their uranium, you take away any ability, you take away their government. People like that tend to turn to terrorism in the end. So that, I think, will always be a long-term threat. Would you have some of these folks? Now, will they be successful? Well, that's eternal vigilance on our part and many other. It's not just the United States that got to think about that. I mean, all the Gulf Arabs, Israel in particular, also needs to think about that. You have these radical Shiites. Think of it. You just essentially killed the head of this religious order.
Yeah.
In a crazy way, and you're probably going to kill his son, who you just elected to be supreme leader again.
That's a promotion I think I'd pass on.
Yeah, I think so. It tends to radicalize people.
If my father just got murdered, I'd probably accept it. I'd probably fight the fight, to be honest with you.
But you're right. I think it emboldens them in a big way because now it's like they've been martyred.
Right. But if you've neutered them enough, and if you've martyred them enough, and they don't have the capacity to actually threaten the entire region, perhaps you see this very swift expansion of the so-called Abraham Accords. And including Saudi jumping in, which would be the big crown jewel, to use their language. If the Saudis essentially create normalization with the Israelis, where you have trade, also just travel, tourism for younger folks, that's kind of the whole idea of the Abraham Accords, that if you're making money together, and also you got these things called smartphones now, including in that part of the world. And for all the radical talk that might happen in different corners, if people go and actually see, oh, no, this is open, I can visit these sites, and we're not that different. I think that's what younger generations are going to find, and what you have is a younger generation of leaders who are, they still have an iron fist, don't get me wrong about the Gulf monarchs, but they're not their grandfathers, I'll put it that way. And they're a little tired of the killing and the dying at this point.
Are they? They're tired of the killing and the dying?
I think certain folks, like the leadership is.
I'm less concerned about Iran and more concerned about their allies and what their responses may be, whether that's Russia, China, North Korea.
Well, there was one moment where President Trump, I believe, was asked about, I think he volunteered this at the press conference last night, talking to Putin. Trump just talked to Putin on the phone. And talk about folks that have not gotten tired of the dying and the killing. Yeah. The Ruskies and the Ukrainians are pretty dogged about it. But here's that moment last night where Trump volunteered, that Putin volunteered, that he wants to be helpful in any way on this whole Middle East thing. But listen to Trump.
I had a very good call with President Putin. We had a lot of people on the line from our side, from his side. We were talking about Ukraine, which is just a never-ending fight. And Look, there's tremendous hatred between President Putin and President Zelensky. They can't seem to get it together. But I think it was a positive call on that subject. And we obviously talked then about the Middle East. And he wants to be helpful. I said, you could be more helpful by getting the Ukraine-Russia war over with. That would be more helpful. But we had a very good talk, and he wants to be very constructive. I had a very good call.
I like that last line. Well, if you actually want, you could be more helpful by getting your thing done and over with. Thanks, Vladimir.
I like how he referred to the Russian-Ukrainian war as the war that never ends and not the ongoing conflict in the Middle East.
Right.
Like,
right.
That's kind of cheeky of him.
No, and it could very well be, like, again, this was, I said it yesterday, that this could be this huge gamble that actually pays off. You know, because we're so used to it not. Like, you know, like,
Lord willing.
Yeah. You're so used to it not working whatsoever. And
what's wild to me, though, is all the white liberals here in the United States filling the streets about, you know, we shouldn't be in Iran, let Iran be free. I'm like, do they not understand that nobody in Iran is free?
Yeah, I don't think freedom is in the cards.
Are they
for a lot
paying
of us.
protesters again? Because that's the only time they actually turn out is whenever paychecks on the
Yeah,
line.
no kidding.
Yeah, I mean, there are some folks where they're all heart, or they're all just mercenary,
Why
and they just ain't thinking.
Why do we think it's going to be different this time in the Middle East?
Because you already had the moves under the first term of Trump. There were already folks normalizing with Israel, the Gulf Arabs in particular. And it's not, for instance, think of like the beginnings of Israel.
But
like, is there really any threat of Egypt or Jordan or anybody, any war in that regard?
But as it relates to Iran, why do we think this is going to be different?
Oh, well, it'd be because you destroy their capacity so much. You have completely obliterated the actual threats they have. Like, you get rid of all the drones. You get rid of all the missiles.
But wouldn't we have to get rid of all the people, too?
All the people?
Yeah.
No, not all of
if
them.
we're talking about threats,
Not all
because
of them.
if we go over there and do this, then we better have a pretty good plan in place for making sure
Oh, yeah.
everything does turn out all right.
Well, we'll see.
It's going to be
Well,
like,
kind of like we already destroyed it one time, right? And they've already restarted. So, like you said, as long as the people are there and the will is there, then they can
Right.
continue to do their thing,
Same
whether
song,
it's in
different
Iran
verse.
or
Yeah.
elsewhere.
Well, Trump keeps saying it's short term, but before we get to some more Trump and Secretary of War Hegseth and the chairman of the Joint Chiefs, this is, of all people, Jonathan Karl of ABC News. And he admits, like, he's covered a lot of wars. And he's sharing how Trump has behaved himself, with, in particular, the press in these last several days.
I've covered 5 different presidents. I have never seen one other than Donald Trump who regularly takes phone calls from reporters. So I thought I would talk a little bit about that. I've spoken to him over the phone 3 times since the military operation, the war against Iran started. In each of those cases, I simply called him and he answered. Some of the conversations are short. Some of them can be quite lengthy. I talked to him today during the middle of the afternoon, and the call lasted for about 20 minutes. When I called, I was actually calling to ask him because if he was firing Kristi Noem, because ABC News was about to report that had happened. And it turned out that he was, as I was talking to him, reviewing the statement that he would put out saying that she was leaving office. And he told me he was sitting there with Marco Rubio, and he started to read the statement to me, and then he pressed send and said, "Look, you can see it now. You can see it now." And sure enough, while we were talking, it appeared on Truth Social, him saying that Kristi Noem was leaving and being replaced by Mark Wayne Mullen.
I love Mark Wayne
The
Mullen.
conversation then turned to Iran, obviously, the really big story and major decision which may define not just his presidency, but his entire political career. And I have to say, he just sounded incredibly triumphant. He said to me, "They're calling me the GOAT, greatest of all time." And he asked me, and this is one of the unusual things, he asked me if I thought it was impressive, meaning the war. He said, what do you think of the performance? He clearly feels that he is a president right now that is almost unlimited in his power, and he feels that he can do no wrong. And he told me, well, in the first term, I built the military. In my second term, I am using it. But again, the conversation goes on, and it's in the middle of the day, in the middle of the war. He had just fired his Secretary of Homeland Security, just replaced her, and he's available and talking about it. It's very unique. Let's just say it that way. It's a very unique situation.
Or you might say transparent. You might say, like, he actually...
That's what you're calling it? You're calling it transparent?
Well, I'll put it to you this way. Trump, it's the old joke. I've always cited it. It's George Carlin about Bill Clinton, but one guy says the other, say it's Trump. That Donald Trump, he's so full of crap. And the other guy says back, yeah, well, at least he's honest about it. Like, it's not... Trump is not being managed by anybody. Like, he is running the show. And you didn't need Jonathan Carl to tell you. Look at the press conference he did last night. He is in his element, and the confidence is through the roof. And
which, quite frankly, we need. Like, I know people don't like his egotistical ways, but, I mean, the fighter pilots and all that kind of stuff, you want them to have big ego. You don't want them going in there scared.
No, I mean, I don't want wallflowers, my warriors, to be wallflowers. You know,
Yeah.
I want people that are actually going to be decisive. But when you campaign on being the president that ends the wars, don't lean into, I've spent the first term building the military only to use it the second term. Like, to me, that makes me feel like you lied to us. And I know you didn't do that, Mr. President.
Well, in his mind, he says this is going to be the war that ends all war.
sure.
So,
Well, and for all the stuff he said about the president who ends wars, he's been saying since he first ran in 2015, Iran will never have a nuclear weapon. He killed General Soleimani, like, which was shocking when that happened. Like, he did Operation Midnight Hammer. Like, this is not number one, out of character. Number two, he's been saying he would be willing to do something like this for a long time. And then in the same breath, he is still the guy who's like, well, I want the Ukraine-Russia thing to end.
Right. I mean, I get all that. But I just don't think that Iran had the bomb. I don't think that they were close to having the bomb, because we did bomb the blank out of them, a few 8-9 months ago. And if we did think that they had one, we wouldn't have been waiting for Israel. We would have told Israel we're going instead of vice versa. That's how that would have gone. We wouldn't have asked their permission. We would have done it because we're the USA.
Yeah, and the initial explanation the day after is because Israel wanted to do a unilateral strike, and that would have brought our troops under threat in the region, that we decided to just join in. Here is, this came out earlier today. You asked about the uranium, and this is Steve Witkoff, the top envoy. He's been Trump's best friend for 30 years or something like that. I think Trump chose wisely picking people he actually trusts in a lot of these positions as opposed to career people in D.C. But Trump himself said, well, I think the Iranians were essentially going to rebuild, and they were going to try to go even deeper. I think Trump said in that press conference last night, they were going under granite. They're going deeper than anybody could reach. They weren't going to relent. But here's Witkoff giving, his perspective after the negotiations with the Iranians in Geneva.
Well, first of all, they had 460 kilograms of 60% enriched material. There is no reason to be at 60%, none, zero reason, unless you're pursuing a weapon. So that's the first thing I would say to the naysayers. The second thing I would say to the naysayers is, who actually shows evidence of their weapon? Would a murderer do such a thing? Everybody has known that they have been testing for weaponization since 2003. The IAEA has attested to that. So we know that they've done all kinds of testing on weapons. And it wouldn't be all that much for them to do a World War II vintage type weapon. So we knew that it was possible that they could have a weapon, or they might be close to being able to procure a weapon. And then I give you this other detail that no one seems to want to talk about, which is they could easily have taken the 60% enriched material and made a dirty bomb out of it.
Yeah.
That would have been a really easy step. So there were all kinds of reasons to be concerned with where they were. And they claim that they were coming to the negotiation with Jared and I for good purposes, to explain to them what they needed from an enrichment standpoint. So to start the conversation off with the predicate that they're entitled to enrich, with the further predicate that they've got 11 bombs worth of enrichment material a week to a week and a half away from being weapons grade, and that they weren't going to give to us diplomatically what they claim we couldn't win from a military standpoint, that was reason enough for us to determine that they weren't there for to be purposefully negotiating a diplomatic settlement to this conflict.
So I'll put it this way. President Trump himself, the vice president, Marco Rubio, Pete Hegseth, everybody up and down the administration, senators who are all for this, especially Lindsey Graham. He is, go take a cold shower, Lindsey, you need one. They've all, though, these administration officials said, this is short, it's not going to be forever. And so if we are sitting here with the U.S. military having to engage months later, big problems, real big problems. So, like I've been telling my Hawk friends, I've been telling folks that are more dovish or thinking that we shouldn't be doing this, like, I'm not going to prejudge it because I'm not sitting here with all the information. I'm not sitting in that room having to make that call. And to be blunt, I'd imagine even President Trump himself, there's always going to be an element of a shot in the dark to this. It is a huge gamble. And if it drags out,
into the midterm,
then you are going to, into the midterms, you are going to have, I think, an unwinding of not just Trump, but a lot of people around him, including Rubio and Vance. But then, if it's true what he's saying last night, short term, this is done, we've destroyed all this capacity, and say kinetic action stop within the next week or two, he might have pulled off something massive.
I just think we're going to have to ratchet it up a little bit more, and I hate to say it this way, but the whole sheet of glass theory, man. I mean, like, I don't understand why we're engaging in something like this with one hand tied behind our back, because it's almost like we're setting ourselves up for the same thing that happened in Iraq, same thing that happened in Afghanistan. We can punch them in the nose, we can bloody them up, but when it comes to the long-term boots on the ground, staying long enough for some sort of viable government to emerge that we're cool with, we can't, or we're unwilling to do that.
Here, for just a straight-up report, is the chairman of the Joint Chiefs. This was this morning. Let's listen in.
Last update, CENTCOM continues to make progress across the southern flank. To date, they've struck more than 5,000 targets. U.S. Strategic Command bombers recently dropped dozens of 2,000-pound GPS penetrating weapons on deeply buried missile launchers across the southern flank. We also have struck several one-way drone factories to get at the heart of their autonomous capability. And of course, alongside our regional partners along the southern flank, continue to execute intercepts against one-way attack drones using fighters and attack helicopters. Our strikes mean we've made significant progress in reducing the number of missile and drone attacks out of Iran. Ballistic missile attacks continue to trend downward, 90% from where they've started, and one-way attack drones have decreased 83% since the beginning of the operation. A testament to our air defenders and our air defense systems, and as I said, our partners in the region continue to do great work as well. Second, we're making substantial progress towards destroying the Navy. In the first 10 days of the conflict, we're more than 50 Iranian naval ships into the campaign using a combination of artillery, fighters, bombers, and sea-launched missiles. As Admiral Cooper noted last Thursday, we struck and sank an Iranian drone carrier ship, and U.S. CENTCOM continues today to hunt and strike mine-laying vessels and mine storage facilities. This work will continue. Third, against our objectives, we've begun to target Iran's military and industrial complex, again, focusing on centers of gravity to get upstream of the shooters out in the field in order to deny them the ability to continue to generate those one-way attack drones.
And then you had, at the same press conference, the Secretary of War, Pete Hegseth,
Oh, Pete. He's so cute.
What?
Yeah.
He's cute?
He is. I love me some Pete Hegseth. All the women listening agree. I got to say what y'all weren't going to say.
That's fair. That's
Yeah.
fair.
Yeah,
Like, I just
everyone
haven't,
said that.
I haven't looked at Pete and gone, oh, he's so cute.
Well, you don't have any reason to.
Mm-hmm. But here is Pete Hegseth at that conference looking cute as a button.
Be yet again our most intense day of strikes inside Iran. The most fighters, the most bombers, the most strikes. Intelligence more refined and better than ever. So that's on one hand. On the other hand, the last 24 hours have seen Iran fire the lowest number of missiles they've been capable of firing yet. Just the bifurcation, just the trend lines that we talked about on our first briefing. You see, this is not 2003. This is not endless nation building under those types of quagmires we saw under Bush or Obama. It's not even close. Our generation of soldier will not let that happen again, and nor will this president, who very clearly ran against those kinds of never-ending, nebulously scoped missions. Those days are dead. Instead, we're winning decisively with brutal efficiency, total air dominance, and an unbreakable will to accomplish the president's objectives on our timeline.
So, yeah, like the initial strike was twice what the shock and awe campaign in 2003 was, and they've only escalated since. And I think the United States position, at least from what Trump has said, is I don't care if it's democracy, I don't care what kind of government you have, just make us promises you're not going to. It's essentially what he did with Venezuela.
It
It's
ain't
like,
going to be y'all doing it.
Right. Think about Venezuela. It's essentially what he did there. He's like, and a lot of folks saying, what are you going to do? He's like, I don't care. Delcy Rodriguez. Cool. As long as she's playing ball. I really do not care who runs your country as long as you're not crossing these particular lines.
Maybe they will get tired of dying. Maybe that will happen.
Who knows? And you listen to the Iranians, and they're like, no, we have more missiles than ever about to come out, and I think they're lying in that regard. I think they are being decimated right now.
I'm just worried that they're going to have a supply line from either Chinatown or Russiaville.
Exactly.
Yeah, and then there's also the worry of sleeper cells all over the world, and we'll see. We'll see. It will continue to play out. I got to hit a break here. First, this part of the program brought to you by Pest Pro Services, and they're at Pest Pro. Ashley and that great team, they're ready to help you, especially now here in spring where the bugs are alive, baby. And I don't like it. I need to call them up to get the wasp situation at my place together. They think it's just vicious. I don't know what it is the wasps have against me.
They're evil.
I need them to come do their spray for the mosquitoes.
Yeah.
I'm like covered in them.
Oh, goodness gracious. I can see a few.
Yeah.
If you're in Cloverdale, you need roaches. So,
yes, folks, whether it's mosquitoes or you never know, maybe you got kids or dogs, you don't want them getting all up in fire ants all over your property, or just you want the whole place treated. You don't want anything disturbing you inside your home. Pest Pro Services can take care of that for you. Of course, now is a perfect time to get termite inspections and lay down year-round protection against those termites with Pest Pro. So y'all check them out today. You can always learn more at ppsriverregion.com or just search Pest Pro Services on the Book of Faces or call them direct at 265-9990. That's 265-9990. And be sure to tell them that Joey, that fellow on the radio, sent you. When you want to know, call a pro. Pest Pro Services. We'll be right back after this.
He may not know whether he's coming or going, but whether you're going to work or coming home, Greg Budell is there. Mornings, 6 till 9, and afternoons, 3 till 6. Only on News Talk 93.1 FM, WACV.
2026 marks 60 years that hope has had a home in Alabama. At the Alabama Sheriff's Youth Ranches, children who've lost everything through no fault of their own have found something priceless. A safe place to live, a loving Christian family, and the chance to simply be kids again. Here, boys and girls grow up surrounded by care, guidance, and faith, learning right from wrong, learning responsibility, learning they are valued and that their lives have purpose. As the Alabama sheriffs have believed for 6 decades, it's easier to build boys and girls than to repair men and women. These former ranchers are now teachers, parents, business owners, and leaders, living proof that love, structure, and faith can change a life forever. As the Alabama Sheriff's Youth Ranches celebrate 60 years of serving Alabama's children, you can help ensure the next child has the same chance. Learn how you can make a difference at alabamasheriffsyouthranches.org. 60 years of building lives, and we're just getting started.
The employees of Adams Drugs would like to thank you for trusting us with your health care in 2025. We look forward to serving you and your family in 2026. You will continue to enjoy the same services such as immunizations, compounding, medication therapy management, delivery service, and wellness clinics, to name a few. Looking for that perfect gift for a loved one? Visit our Emily B. gift shop and find everything from Tyler candles to scout bags. Gift wrapping is available. If you have not visited Adams Drugs and experienced the award-winning customer service, we ask you to consider us for your prescription care in 2026. We have 12 convenient locations to serve you in the River Region. 8 in Montgomery, 1 in Wetumpka, Prattville, Millbrook, and Pine Level, Marbury. Please find us at adamsdrugs.net for the location that is nearest to you. Adams Drugs is your local, independently owned Health Mart pharmacy. Health Mart, taking the time to listen and care.
From weddings and concerts to cookouts and construction sites, TT Porta Toilets has been serving Central Alabama for over 30 years. Whether you need standard portable toilets with wash stations or upscale restroom trailers for special events, the Tierce family has the right solution for every occasion. So when you're planning your next big event or project, make it easy on yourself. Call 285-5513 or visit ttportatoilet.com. TT Porta Toilets. Clean, convenient, dependable.
Are you tired of the mainstream media's biased reporting? Do you want to stay informed on the news that really matters to you? Look no further than 1819 News. At 1819 News, we bring you the latest in Alabama news, politics, sports, culture, and more. We've assembled a team of journalists with Alabama values dedicated to the truth and the truth alone. Visit us at 1819news.com today. That's 1819news.com. Subscribe to our newsletter. Honest News, Alabama Values. This hour of news and views is brought to you by our good friends at Alabama Home Mortgage. Alabama Home Mortgage, 567-4223. Visit them on the web at myalabamahomemortgage.com. NMLS number 1586368. An equal housing lender.
Welcome to Eclectic Coins, Montgomery's largest coin dealer, specializing in buying and selling investment-grade gold and silver coins. And they have a large selection of rare coins and coins from around the world. Visit them at 543 Northeastern Boulevard or on the web at eclecticcoins.com. Eclectic Coins, where collectors who know go.
Join us tomorrow from noon to 1 at Premier Portable Buildings, 1690 South Memorial Drive in Prattville for our Warm Hearts for Seniors supply drive. Drop off much-needed supplies to benefit the Central Alabama Aging Consortium.
This hour of news and views is brought to you by our good friends at Alabama Home Mortgage. Alabama Home Mortgage, 567-4223. Visit them on the web at myalabamahomemortgage.com. NMLS number 1586368. An equal housing lender.
Rich Thomas weather brought to you by M&M Outdoors. Book your stay today at MNMCampground.com for relaxation at its best. It's easy to find and hard to leave. M&M Outdoors, your home away from home.
Rich Thomas weather.
Well, hi, everybody. Get ready for another very warm day today with temperatures probably heading for the mid-80s again. We'll say partly sunny today and mostly cloudy tonight. Overnight low temperature down to about 64. On Wednesday, one more day in the middle 80s before a big temperature drop. The risk of scattered showers and thunderstorms will be increasing by late afternoon and becoming likely by this evening and tonight. Some of the storms strong, possibly severe. All modes of severe weather possible, including maybe some tornadoes. Then much cooler air follows with the high temperature only in the lower 60s on Thursday. I think we may be in the upper 30s on Thursday night. From the Blue Water Weather Center, this is Rich Thomas.
Live local talk. The River Region's most trusted voice for news and opinion. News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
Joey Clark.
Welcome back. Let's go to the phones, 272-9228, and talk to Clark. Hey, Clark, how you doing?
I'm great, sir. And yourself?
I'm all right.
That's a good way to be. So, on Donald Trump and the braggadocio, the egomania, the mean tweets, et cetera, et cetera. Now, when Donald Trump says he's going to do something, he will tell you it's going to be the greatest wall that's ever been built. It'll be the finest hotel that's ever been made, et cetera, et cetera. But here's the thing. His intention is to build the greatest wall that's ever been built, the finest hotel that's ever been made, et cetera, et cetera. Now, if you're looking for a surgeon and he does not walk into the next surgery thinking, let's go do this the best that's ever been done.
Right.
If you're looking for somebody to build your house and he doesn't show up thinking, this is going to be the best house that I've ever built, that anybody's ever built, et cetera, on down the line, why are you hiring that person?
That was my point.
The man follows through, okay? That's number one. Number two, who built Yankee Stadium?
Babe Ruth.
The house that Ruth built. How did he build that?
On the backs of a lot of other people.
Greatness. True greatness.
Great. He hit home runs. Now, do you think he spit tobacco when he was at the plate? Did he scratch himself when he was out at first base in the outfield? Did he eat a lot of hot dogs and drink a lot of beer?
Oh, yeah.
Do you think any Yankees fans, any New York Yankee fans, fussed about Babe Ruth? I don't think they did. I think anybody that fussed about those things was not a Yankee fan. And I think anybody fussing about Donald Trump's braggadocio or his mean tweets is probably really just not an America fan. Let's just shut up and let the guy hit home runs. If he needs to scratch, you scratch that itch. Go ahead.
Oh, I hear you loud and clear. Though, this is also America, and half of loving America is being able to bitch about when, number one, when the opposition party is in power and doing things. That's an American tradition, baby. And then I think there are a lot of folks who are mostly in the independent camp who voted for Trump who are a bit wary of war in general. Now, you could say they're wrong or they're going too far in this moment. They're being panicans. But, yeah, I think I have a big heart for the definition of what an American is. I think we can all come together under that banner of us being mad at one another. But I hear you loud and clear, man.
I got no problem with somebody not liking the opposition party, but we're at the point now where there's one party that won't do the will of his constituency, and there's another party that wants to take things as hard and fast to the left as it can and destroy the nation. And I don't know. I don't know why I would cross the aisle or anybody would cross the aisle and be part of that.
Yeah, I guess we got Fetterman. But I see your point, too.
Maybe just think if every Democrat would have a stroke. We'd be a pretty good country pretty quick.
Goodness gracious.
Would they still get stuff done when they're in the minority like they do? Because I don't know. They get more done in the minority than Republicans can do when they hold a majority.
Well, and especially with the United States Senate, and there's a lot of this in the House, but it's easier to count the senators. McConnell, Murkowski, Collins, and for some reason Tom Tillis has a big old bee in his bonnet. And it's just a few that are holding up things like the Save America Act and several other ideas that I think were great. You want to know why Doge was leashed so early? It might be an even bigger list of senators than just the few I named. And it's because a lot of folks, they talk a great public game, but they don't actually mean it. They're very institutionalized. And perhaps I mean that in the way they're careerists there, or they know the system, or maybe they should be thrown in a madhouse. I don't know.
Well, our big problem is they know the system too well, and they know how to play it. I think Mitch McConnell figured out that it was just as profitable to lead the minority as it was the majority, and a whole lot less work. You only got to deliver 2 or 3 votes if you're in the minority.
Yep.
Anyway, y'all keep doing it, and I'll keep listening.
Appreciate it.
Thank you, sir.
272-9228. It's 334-272-9228. Yeah, there has been, and it reigned for a long time, and it's changed a little bit under Trump, but you still see the vestiges of it. The conservative parties our goal is just to kind of be able to pump the brakes on the leftward drip. We just need to be a check. Let's pump the brakes, as opposed to, like what Ronald Reagan said about the Cold War. We win, they lose. And that mentality, it goes back to the beginning of Clark's call, that you want, when it's a high-stakes game in particular, you want somebody who thinks they're going to win and do it in the greatest way possible. Now, many have fallen from that pedestal of hubris, but then occasionally a few people do pull it off, and maybe we're in one of those moments.
God willing.
Amen.
Hey, we prayed, and Sonny's no longer going to meet the makers so soon. So
well, also, I have noticed your disposition. You're just
mine.
Yeah, your buddy said this to you the other day. You just told me that.
Oh yeah, I mean I'm pretty cynical and pessimistic, but hey, working in politics and being around these nice, lovely people for so long and being told all these great and lovely things to my face, and then knowing all the lies and where the money comes from. Yeah. I'm a little jaded.
So. I think it also takes all types. It's that moment when you have, like, I've always loved the character of the fool, not like the true court jester, but like the person that could talk to the king in power, anybody in power, like they're not the king. It's the one person who gets away with that. I think there's always wisdom in having that check to you need the confidence. Don't lose the confidence fully, but you need somebody to check your confidence every once in a while.
Well, everyone needs good counsel.
Absolutely. And I have a sense, actually, Trump does have people like that.
Well, I didn't mean to imply that.
No, seriously, I think Trump does have people like that. The amount of, like you heard Jonathan Garl say, it's not just reporters. It's like he will talk to a lot of folks. And I think there are a lot of people he's known for years where he's the president, but he's also the same Donald they've known for a long time. So we'll see. And as I always go back to, largely, sometimes you can make a change here locally on particular issues. But largely, especially with something like an international war, we're spectators. So whether you like what you're seeing or not, eat your popcorn and enjoy the show. Dadgummit. And pray to God. Anyway, we'll be right back.
Want to carry News Talk in your pocket? Download the News Talk 93.1 app from the App Store. Available on iPhone and Android. Never miss a moment. Download now.
Not all meat and three plates are created equal. At Epicure and Jack's Tavern, every meat and three is scratch made to order. No shortcuts, no freezer tricks. Just honest cooking with real ingredients. Once you taste the difference, you'll understand why theirs stands above the rest. Epicure and Jack's Tavern. Scratch made isn't a slogan, it's how they cook. Located at 2060 Downing Street in Millbrook.
This is Jennifer Pestruccelli, General Sales Manager and co-owner of Blue Water Broadcasting. We're home to 7 radio stations at a rapidly expanding digital marketing platform, and we're looking for our next great sales professional. At Blue Water, you'll build customized campaigns that include radio and targeted digital marketing solutions. You'll prospect new clients, manage your own accounts, and work in a fast-paced, creative environment. Media or digital sales experience is a plus. Send your resume to jobs@bluewaterbroadcasting.com. Blue Water Broadcasting, local folks helping local business.
Hey there, Alabama. Are you ready to transform your home with style? At Royal Furniture, they've been delivering inspired value since 1946. Whether you're in Prattville, Montgomery, Auburn, Oxford, Gadsden, Athens, Decatur, or Florence, they've got the perfect pieces to make your space shine. Visit them today and discover a wide selection of furniture that fits your lifestyle and budget. Royal Furniture, where quality meets affordability, right here in Alabama. Stop by your nearest location and let them make your home beautiful together.
This hour of news and views is brought to you by our good friends at Alabama Home Mortgage. Alabama Home Mortgage, 567-4223. Visit them on the web at myalabamahomemortgage.com. NMLS number 1586368, an equal housing lender.
The River Region's News Talk station. News Talk 93.1, WACV. News Talk 93.1.
Joey Clark.
Welcome back. Let's take a break from the war. All the war talk.
Are we going to have fun?
Well, it might be.
You're not having fun?
I'm having fun.
I am. We just need something a little lighthearted.
Well, Tim Burchett might do that. Now, it might not be that lighthearted because he's talking about gasoline.
Oh,
Petroleum.
I thought you were talking about personal gas.
Yeah, I always think of that line in Dumb and Dumber. And how do they know I have gas? Anyway, this is Tim Burchett, one of my favorites up there in the United States House of Representatives. Because he's not that different than us. You know, representing a good part of Tennessee. Like, he could easily be an Alabama representative.
I love whenever he's serious, he wears his Carhartt jacket.
Yeah, exactly. Well, this is him, I think, on his day off, wearing a hoodie of some sort. But he's going to talk about how gas prices are a scam.
Hey, everybody. Tim Burchett just filled up the dually with diesel yesterday. I decided to do that instead of sending my daughter to school next year. But the reality is, I mean, they're ripping us off. Diesel is like the second cut they take off it when it comes out of the ground. I think it goes kerosene and diesel and then gasoline, and diesel is the most expensive. And I'm sure they can make some sort of, they'll bring out the economic experts, another to cover themselves on that. Another thing that really ticks me off about it is that they've when the price of oil, like they say, well, it's this whatever happens overseas is causing this to happen. But then when you go to the hardware store or the auto parts store and you buy a quart of oil, guess what? The price hasn't gone up. But the price of the gasoline in the tank is going up, and that's gasoline that is probably months from it was in the ground, and then it was converted into gasoline at a refinery. So the whole thing is just ridiculous. It's greed, and eventually we're going to come to a point in technology, say coal turning coal into oil and gasoline, as the Germans did during the Second World War. But guess what? The technology hasn't advanced since then. It's still cheaper just to get oil out of the ground than to convert coal, which we have a lot of. And how much oil does America get from Iran? Zero. That's how much. This is a scam, and these oil companies, shame on them. They're using this opportunity to make record profits once again. So you got to ask yourself, even if we were getting it, what about the stuff that's already in the pipeline, that's already been paid for, the gasoline that's in the tank at your neighborhood filling station? How does it go up exponentially when something happens overseas? It's a scam. Gasoline goes up like a rocket and it comes down with a parachute and it never gets back down to where it should be. Technology, all that technology in the world, we're going to eventually figure out how to crack that hydrogen molecule and run our cars off of water, I think. I don't care what the scientists tell you right now. They tell you all this stuff. The man couldn't run a 4-minute mile, can't go 100 miles an hour in an automobile, you can't breathe. We're not going to go to the moon. Tim Burchett's not going to get elected to Congress. You hear all those things. Guess what? They happened. Anyway, thank y'all for sending me here. Pray for our country.
I love that guy. I'd vote for him all day, every day.
Hell, I want him to adopt me, man. I mean, like, he'd make the perfect grandfather, dude.
Now, and by the way, after Trump said short term, this is going to be short term, oil prices drop like crazy. After hitting $120 a barrel, oil futures collapsed to $85. And it's to his point, and it's not even like the big companies. I'd imagine it's at that sort of, your jobber to the actual gas station. Like, it's a very competitive retail market. And I don't know, like the
same thing happened with like furniture with the tariffs.
Yeah.
And stuff, that you had showroom floor full of furniture that had been sitting there for months, years, and they increase it because of the tariffs. I'm like, this same chest of drawers was here 6 months ago.
But then, of course, you could have somebody who is a jobber who runs a gas station. Like, you don't understand the margins I'm working on, and because it's so volatile, I need to make that money, when everybody else is running up their prices.
This is the institutional people doing long or shorts and puts and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
Just manipulating in the short term.
Yeah. It just, what a mess. What a mess. But I love how he puts it.
Yeah.
He puts it well. Let's go to line 1 real quick. You're on there. Who's this?
Hi, Joy.
Hi.
I couldn't think of a way to put that to steal my thunder any better than what he just put it. You said you was going to change the subject from war, so I'm like, okay. How about these prices that are scamming? Being scammed left and right for years. And what do you do? What did you do?
Got a mind meld going.
Just blew me out of the water, son. What's up with that?
Hold your
Old man
horses.
can't even call in. Old man can't even call in without getting his thunder stolen and blowed him right out of the water. But he did good. That's been going on for years.
Yeah.
And gasoline is also another byproduct waste of oil or other products. But they won't tell you that because it's supply and demand, baby.
Oh, yeah.
All right. Now, the gentleman was saying that diesel is like the first or second cut. Kerosene next. Gasoline ain't far from there. All right. Then they take a form of gasoline and cook it to make jet fuel. And then from there, whatever is left in the other byproducts is you get plastics and other things and oil products mixed with different rubber materials. And that's where they really make money, and they're scamming us again because oil don't cost that much to pump out of the ground. But thank you for blowing me out of the water, Joy. We talk at you later.
Love you, Paul. Appreciate it, man.
That was funny.
Whatever happened to the pipeline? You know, Trump kept saying he was going to bring the pipeline back.
The Keystone Pipeline?
Yes.
I'm pretty certain it was operational. Or at
Okay,
least
well
one
then
of
why
the
can't
two.
we bring the gas prices down with that?
Well, the prices were so high then that, if I'm not mistaken, that was in the oil sands or the tar sands up in Canada. And because of the extraction method, it's got to be a certain price point before it makes sense to do that. I might be mistaken on if that's the pipeline.
Byron with the facts.
Anyway.
Or some facts, maybe not the facts.
Well, we got to hit this break. Final hour coming up.
Broadcasting from the Riverside Chevrolet Master Control Center, this is WACV Cusana, News Talk 93.1 FM. When it's Chevy, it's Riverside.
With SRN News, I'm John Scott. The State Department says more than 40,000 Americans have returned to the U.S. from the Middle East since the start of the Iran war, the vast majority returning commercially without government assistance. The national average gas price was $3.48 a gallon on Monday. That's up from $2.90 just before the war, according to AAA. Baltimore's mayor says a police officer was shot while responding to a barricade situation at a home in the city. Police separately say the suspect was also shot during the active shooter incident. A massive fire broke out on a barge carrying scrap metal on the Delaware Bay. Boats on both sides of the barge firing water cannons into the pile of metal. There were no injuries. The cause of that fire remains under investigation. This is SRN News.
So my friends over at Pure Talk have been sending me customer feedback from consumeraffairs.com, where thousands of people rate and review the top wireless providers. Here, for instance, is a nice note from James in Raleigh, North Carolina, who writes, quote, after hearing Mike Rowe's ad, we made the switch to Pure Talk, and we couldn't be happier. We went from spending $1,200 a year with T-Mobile to $420 with Pure Talk. Thanks, Mike. Switch today! Exclamation point. Pure Talk is saving James $820 a year. And because he literally wrote the words switch today in capital letters with an exclamation point, I'm going to go ahead and dedicate this commercial to him. So folks, take it from James in Raleigh, North Carolina. Pure Talk can give you unlimited talk, text, and plenty of data for just $25 a month on the same 5G service the big guys are overcharging you for. Just dial pound 250, say Mike Rowe. You'll also save 50% off your first month. That's pound 250 to save an additional 50%. Thanks, James.
Rich Thomas Weather is brought to you by Alabama Wholesale Lumber. For tough, good-looking roofs, it's Tamco Shingles from Alabama Wholesale Lumber. For great folks and great prices, call Alabama Wholesale Lumber.
Rich Thomas Weather.
Well, hi, everybody. Get ready for another very warm day today with temperatures probably heading for the mid-80s again. We'll say partly sunny today and mostly cloudy tonight. Overnight low temperature down to about 64. On Wednesday, one more day in the middle 80s before a big temperature drop. The risk of scattered showers and thunderstorms will be increasing by late afternoon and becoming likely by this evening and tonight. Some of the storms strong, possibly severe. All modes of severe weather possible, including maybe some tornadoes. Then much cooler air follows with the high temperature only in the lower 60s on Thursday. I think we may be in the upper 30s on Thursday night. From the Blue Water Weather Center, this is Rich Thomas.
CB&S Bank, serving families and communities since 1906. Proud to be named 16th best performing bank nationally in their asset category by American Banker. Learn more at cbsbank.com. CB&S Bank, member FDIC, equal housing lender.
1819 News.
Two student newspapers that were suspended a few months ago at the University of Alabama are now making a comeback under independent leadership. The University of Alabama chose to suspend the two magazines named 1956 and Alice in order to avoid conflict with the Department of Justice and its advisory to continue institutional neutrality and avoid anti-discrimination laws. The Student Media Editorial Board called this decision mass censorship that must be resisted. An outside group has now raised money for the publication to continue forward. The first printing of the two magazines will be this spring. I'll be back with more Alabama stories after this.
Where I was living was not a great place to live anymore. I began to pray for a place to go, praying for all of these things that a 9-year-old would want. I wanted horses, big house with a bunch of people my age. I wanted parents. I wanted a mom and a dad. Before I even prayed it, the Lord had already answered my prayer with the Big Oak Ranch. Who would that 9-year-old be if she never came to the Big Oak Ranch? I would be trying to fight for survival instead of fighting to break a cycle.
Big Oak Ranch, a Christian home for children needing a chance.
GE Aerospace is planning to invest $1 billion in various U.S.-based manufacturing facilities, which includes two facilities here in Alabama, Huntsville and Auburn. GE Aerospace will invest $55 million in the already existing site in Huntsville. This will go for more production equipment and upgrades to the building. The current Huntsville facility manufactures ceramic matrix composites that outperform regular metals in high heat situations. A missing Bayou La Batre man has been located alive in the state of Mississippi. 85-year-old Moses Harbison was reported missing by police on Sunday afternoon after last being seen at the Odd Fellows Cemetery in Bayou La Batre. I'm Andrea Tice.
For more news affecting Alabamians, go to 1819news.com. And while you're there, subscribe to the daily newsletter.
This hour of News and Views is brought to you by our good friends at Cole Plumbing, 279-8919. Cole Plumbing is number one in the number two business. You don't have to dig a hole. They have proprietary pipelining technology. Ask them about their tankless water heaters. Remember, when you have trouble with your bowl, call on Cole.
I move mountains for a living. Literally. That means I don't carry hand lotion, and when it comes to serious heartburn, I don't mess around with anything but Rolaids. Rolaids' dual-active formula has calcium carbonate and magnesium hydroxide that relieves heartburn fast. Yeah, you heard right. 2 actives for that powerful relief. And the best part? The roll fits right here in my pocket, so I can get back to moving mountains.
Rolaid spells powerful relief. Read each label. Use as directed. Keep out of reach of children.
The views and opinions of the following program are solely those of the host and other contributors. These do not necessarily represent those of Liberty Acquisitions 825, Blue Water Broadcasting, its management, staff, or any advertisers. It's time for Montgomery's conversational radio show. It's News and Views on News Talk 93.1 FM. To join the conversation, call 272-9228.
Clark.
Welcome back. Sorry for the delay. Somebody was asking me for restaurant ideas to celebrate a big old anniversary with his wife, so I had to tell him a few of the fine dining places.
Did you tell him he was talking to the one person who hardly ever goes out in Montgomery?
That's true, but no, I told him a few.
I heard you. You told him right.
Yeah. No, that spot's all right. Yeah. No, there's all sorts of. I'll just say, like Vinager's great. Chuck's is great. Chuck's Seafood.
That's her spot.
Yeah, the place is good. Zaza's is great. Is the place out at Hampstead still open?
Mm-hmm.
City Grill.
City Grill? Yeah.
La Jolla.
La Jolla's awesome. Yeah, there's a lot of, if you want to spend a little more, like a lot of good places to eat. Now, we need to up our game because we ain't quite Auburn. Like, I went to Acre the other day for my uncle's birthday, and daggum, I wasn't paying. It wasn't as expensive as Acre can be on their dinner menu as their brunch, but man, that food is incredible.
I love the Hound.
The Hound is cool. Yeah, I've spent many good and bad memories at the Hound. That's a great building.
You know,
cool
Acre
spot.
owns the barbecue place over there too.
Yeah, Bow and
and
Arrow. Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, yeah.
There's
Spot
only
is
one
all right.
barbecue place in Auburn.
What's that?
What's my name?
Byron's.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. You should try Bow and Arrow though. Seriously, it's got a Texas feel to it. Anyway, welcome back into the final hour of the program, and I promise you to lighten things up. Now, this isn't completely lighthearted because it's about the rule of law and this tit for tat that's going on between, like the Biden folks weaponize and go after Trump, or no, maybe it was Obama when they, framed the president for treason by working with the Russians to steal an election, using the national security and surveillance powers of the government to do it. But that's not really that big of a deal. But then, now it's Trump weaponizing things. And so recently, Susan Rice, who was there during the Obama years, is threatening anybody working for Trump, any company that is now, especially all the big tech companies that are now being nice to Trump and, being part of the administration, kind of left the Democratic Party en masse. And by the way, a lot of them are moving out of California. More and more and more folks moving and incorporating in Florida to just run away from whatever that government in California is. But Susan Rice essentially said to all these folks, you work with them, you're nice to them and stuff, we're coming after you.
Susan Rice doesn't want to go after the tech nerds, man. That's going to go very, very poorly for her.
Well, here is Senator John Kennedy of Louisiana.
Oh, our man.
Talking about Susan Rice threatening people who take the knee for Trump. Let's listen in to John Kennedy.
Well, what Ms. Rice seems to be saying is that it's okay in America today to use the law to prosecute and harass your political enemies. I find that astounding, coming from a person of her stature.
Right.
That's the sort of thing that doesn't happen in America. That's the sort of thing that's only supposed to happen in countries whose Powerball jackpot is 287 chickens and a goat. Not America. We believe in the rule of law. We believe in equal protection. We believe nobody is above the law, but nobody's beneath it. I can't think of a more irresponsible statement for somebody to make.
Yeah, and he's making a very serious point, but even then, he's got to sneak in that line. He's the wit for centuries from that guy.
I can name one body above the law. Congress.
Well, yeah, they are. Yeah, you want to see the closest thing to an absolute monarch? It is the Congress. The Congress could, if you were able to, it's been hacked with the committee system and the seniority system and the interagency process and all this other stuff. So, and with the off-year election, especially with the Senate, it's tough to but say the Republicans or the Democrats completely take all of Congress. You could do whatever you want, essentially. You could amend the Constitution. You have that power to essentially change anything. So yes, they technically are above the law because they can make law.
There'd be some hurdle in the Senate that stopped everything. There would be.
There'd be something. They'd find something at least. Anyway, I just love that guy. He's fantastic. Now, I want to give you all a choice. We have RFK Jr., and then also we have John Thune, and then we also have Katie Britt. Like, so, and I didn't want to give away the topics, but
I'm ornery. Remember, let's go Thune.
Thune?
Yeah.
What's your vote?
I was going to vote for RFK.
Okay.
Dealer's choice.
I'm going with RFK because it's a little lighter. I'm sorry. But I have to. Because Thune is, we'll get to him after this, but like Thune is mad that the Department of Homeland Security is still shut down, and so is Katie, and they're raising all sorts of cane, and we can get to that in a second. But this I thought was interesting. It's like one of those things where everybody knows it at this point, and maybe it's not as predominant in the South, especially the rural South.
Oh, I know what you're about to say.
Right.
Are you talking about his beef with Starbucks?
No.
Oh, you
No.
know, that's been the big talking
He's got
point.
a beef with Starbucks?
He does.
Doesn't
Starbucks
everybody?
and Dunkin' and all that, talking about how their drinks are nothing but like 100 grams of sugar a piece. And they're the reason kids are fat. You didn't see all that?
Well, no, but I agree with them.
Yeah.
No,
It's marked
seriously.
up 500% for sure.
No, it's one thing. It was a change I made in my life a long time ago where I stopped drinking any sugary drink.
Yeah.
Like even like this crap, and it is crap that I drink, like Red Bulls, or I get the sugar-free ones. Like I don't do sugary sodas because it's so much calories and it's so easy to put that down.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, but the sugar-free stuff, if it's got any of the substitutes in it, it's not any better for you.
Well, I agree, but it's a caloric thing more with like, especially Starbucks. You get like everything, it's 500 calories
cup
in
of
a
sugar,
cup.
yeah.
Like it's crazy.
Frappuccino, it's basically a milkshake.
But this does have to do with food. But when's the last time y'all actually sat down and had the ritual of cooking a meal and a family meal?
It's much cheaper to cook your own food, to get fresh food and cook it. But people don't cook anymore. They're too busy, and and a lot of people have forgotten how to cook. But cooking is important because it's a very important ritual for bringing families together. And it's something the whole family can participate in. It's a ritual that's a daily ritual that brings people together. And so one of the things that we're doing in this administration is we're going to have a campaign to encourage people to start cooking again. And we're going to help the schools, figure out how to do that as well, because you can get good food. The money can stay the same, and you can give good food to your children. You just have to be smart about it.
Now, I'll admit, I don't mind cooking. I don't like cleaning up after I do the cooking, if that makes any sense. But the one thing I can do is a heck of a steak presentation. Like, I'm confident. Now, if I had to do it for a bunch of folks, who knows? But when it's like me and a few folks, I can do steak. But what would be something that's a go-to for you? And is he right? Do you often cook, or is it a lot of picking something up or going out?
No, I mean, we do our fair share of that too. But I would say we cook probably 3 to 4 meals at least.
That's good.
A week. Yeah.
That's really good.
And we've gotten the boys involved. They like being in the middle of it all. So I bought them some Montessori knives so they can't cut their hands off, but they can cut vegetables and stuff like that to help prep.
Nice. Okay.
Yeah.
I like that.
So.
Yeah, your proper family life.
Yeah.
What about?
I mean, it's $45. Go to Chick-fil-A. So.
Yeah, it is. Everything's expensive. And is there a go-to you want to the thing you're confident I could throw down? I can cook this particular meal.
Oh, I mean, I'm all about. I know that hater who called in the last time I was here. Crock pot meals, casserole, stuff like that.
Yeah.
That you can just do quick, cheap.
Yeah.
But poppy seed chicken or stuff like that. Kids will eat it. You'll like it. It's not a whole lot of ingredients.
Right, and get it done.
Yeah.
What about you?
It doesn't matter to me, man. Whatever's on sale at the market.
Yeah. Buy the BOGO.
I mean, I think that the theme for Southern cuisine is whatever you have in the pantry, making it work. Because we were, also dirt poor growing up, listening to our grandparents save thread during the Great Depression and everything. So whatever you have in the cupboard, being able to make that work.
Last night we had breakfast for supper.
Okay.
Yeah. Grits.
That's pretty tasty.
Sausage, eggs,
Nice.
Yeah.
Linker patty.
Well, we just scrambled, made like a bowl.
Ooh.
Yeah.
I did roast beef, mushroom, ramen.
Ooh. I don't even remember what I had last night. Oh no, I had a spicy chicken sandwich from Chick-fil-A.
See?
And it was
Chick-fil-A.
Oh no, like I don't cook that much. I probably should. I'll cook a steak every once in a while for Gramps and I, but
But I mean, to Kennedy's point, the hunk of meat that I got was $20, and it fed me for 3 or 4 meals.
Mhm.
Just having the time to do it is the problem for most folks.
yeah, and I think he's right too on not just like the cost and the food itself, but there is, and you're experiencing that from what you've described. It's like it's family time and quality family time. And I'd imagine to a degree it pulls away from the screen time, it pulls away from TV and other distractions, to where you have, especially with young kids, you have this routine, this ritual, as he said.
Yeah.
Makes a lot of sense.
This campaign should have been started 50, 40 years ago. I
Yep.
mean, the amount of families that have dinner together just drops year over year over year. And if they do have family time together, most of them have a phone or a device somewhere around, or the TV's on. Yeah.
Yep.
We will save this country around the dinner table.
Well, my mother was, God love her, she made sure. And once I went off to college, though, and I don't know, stuff started to change where it's like, yeah, order something, or go pick something up. I stopped doing the cooking. I don't know what that was.
Still having to sit down with the family, saying the blessing, talking about your day. That's what we're missing.
No, there was the time where, in college, on a game day, and LSU's in town in Auburn, and I didn't have tickets or anything. I don't want to go tailgate it. I was like a junior or something. I was just kind of over it. But, you rip the bong, and it's like, what if we make rotisserie chicken Conecuh sausage tacos?
You weren't putting Old Forester in your Cheerios Saturday mornings during game day?
No, but it worked out great. You shred up by hand the rotisserie chicken meat and chop the Conecuh small, and then treat it like it's just beef, with taco mix, and get all your
Now,
toppings.
rotisserie chicken, that is a great hack.
Oh, rotisserie chicken's
You don't have to worry about cooking your own chicken. You have a recipe that calls for chicken. Go buy your rotisserie, pull it, and you're ready to go.
Oh, yeah. A lot of chicken salad get made at my house.
That's right.
Well, and the Wall Street Journal, they're trying to make the point that all these millennials and Gen Z are splurging, but they said splurging on rotisserie chicken. It's like the one thing left even at the grocery store that is prepared, ready, and it ain't that expensive.
Right.
Thank goodness for Costco hot dogs, man.
Let's go to line 1. You're on there. Who's this?
Slim.
Hey, Slim. How are you?
I'm fine.
What's on your mind today?
I talk about food and stuff I like to eat.
All right.
And my favorite food is pizza, hamburgers, french fries, and spaghetti.
Bring it. Come on with it.
I like
Don't
all
stop
those
there.
things, too.
Yeah.
And po' boys. Yeah, po' boys. My favorite po' boys.
Like a shrimp po' boy?
Fried oyster.
And hot sauce is po' boy, too. My favorite, too.
Man, now you're making me hungry, Slim. Could eat all that.
What's your favorite? Pamela, what's your favorite, Pamela?
Pamela's not here yet, but we have Madeline here in the studio with us.
Oh, what's my favorite? Oh, my word. I don't know. I like a lot of stuff. Favorite food?
I like to eat a lot of stuff, too.
Yeah. I like pasta, in any form.
Dude.
Yeah. Whether it's spaghetti or fettuccine.
Okay, pasta, pasta good, too.
Yeah. Carbs. I like carbs.
I say people going to be full, too. People going to be full, too. People going to have a pot belly, too.
If we're lucky.
Yeah.
I say people's stomach going to be poking out.
Oh, yeah. No, there's a lot of pregnant men here in Alabama.
Muffin tops, man. Muffin tops.
They call it the dad bod.
I think he's talking about
I
past
say
the
people going to
dad
be
bod.
like Santa Claus, Marilyn. People going to be like Santa Claus, Marilyn.
No, when you don't need a tray to sit in front of the TV and it's just the belly's a shelf.
Well, there you go.
Yeah, that's a little far gone.
I say people going to be people going to be rubbing their belly, too.
For wisdom and all the things. Well, I appreciate the call, Slim. Good hearing from you, man.
Okay, all right. Take care.
You too.
I do love some random street food. The more questionable it looks, it wouldn't pass health inspection. Give me that.
Oh, I go through the whole just, I mean, I love pizza and hamburgers and hot dogs and all that, but like, you know, you try everything. There's certain types of Indian food I like. There's certain, like, a ramen when it's really done well. It's like with some pork belly and like an egg and like scallions, all that stuff. Ooh, it's all right.
You gotta do your soy eggs, man.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it's tasty. And then, but I it's hard to beat like a really good, like, say, ribeye steak, twice baked potato, or like pasta, especially over there at Fresh Market. They got some stuff that's pre-made that's already just good on its own.
Anything with peanut butter.
Peanut butter. Lately I've been on a peanut butter kick.
Yeah.
I admit it.
I made a comment.
It's been my dessert, a spoonful of peanut butter and a chocolate protein shake.
I made a comment to somebody last night. I was like, I'm going to turn into a blueberry. I don't know
Blueberries
why,
are good.
but I eat probably a flat or, you know, a container of blueberries every other day.
I love blueberries.
Really good. And let's go to line 2. You're on there. Who's this?
We talking to Jeff.
Hey, we talking to Jeff. What's up?
Hey, I'm pretty good with the chili.
Ooh, chili.
Yeah, I got a recipe you'll love.
Do you
Do
cook
your
it on the
non-food.
stovetop or in a crock pot, or how do you cook it?
I cook the hamburger meat in a electric skillet, and then all the other ingredients I throw in a pot.
Yeah.
And then when I'm doing the meat, I add a couple of teaspoons of A1 sauce.
Oh, A1. Yeah.
Yeah, and then in the pot, I put 1 can of kidney beans, and already carries it's like a Cajun bean, spring bean. I put a can of it in there. 2 packets of taco seasoning, 2 packets of chili seasoning, 2 cans of diced tomatoes, and a jar of basil, tomato, and onion. Mix all that together, and it makes a great pot of chili.
Here. That's I
But
never
do you
mastered
eat it
chili
when it's hot
myself.
outside, or you just eat it in the winter months?
I eat it all the time.
Okay. See, I can't get
It's his
down on it when
go-to.
it's hot outside.
Cold chili.
Yeah, even when it's hot. Yeah. Chili's a seasonal thing. It's any season.
There you go. Okay. Well,
But the taco seasoning and the A1 sauce is what really gives the flavor.
And that electric skillet.
Make it pop.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, I appreciate it, Jeff. Man, I shouldn't have brought this up. Now I'm just hungry. I really am.
I tell you what, I'll make a pot and bring you some.
Oh, I would love that. Thank you, sir.
I'll do that one day. All right.
Thank
Talk
you,
to you
Jeff.
later.
272-9228. Josh Ryder texted me saying he loves doing a big old crawfish seafood boil for friends every year. And when man, I like that stuff.
Corn, little new potatoes. Oh, yeah, that's good.
Mm-hmm. Let's go to line 1. You're on there. Who's this?
That is Slim and stuff. That is Slim.
Hey, Slim. I thought you just called.
Yeah, you want to hear a joke? Madeline and stuff. You want to hear a joke, Madeline?
All right, let's hear it.
Now, why the squirrel was scared to climb up the tree?
Who's there?
I say, why the scared to crawl up the tree, Madeline?
Why?
Yeah, he's scared he's going to not be able to get down.
All righty.
No, I didn't land. I appreciate it, Slim, as always. Let's go to line 2. You're on there. Who's this?
This is Crawdad.
Hey, Crawdad.
You guys are talking my talk.
As soon as I saw this clip this morning, I knew it would be.
I got a question for Crawdad real quick.
Mm-hmm.
Crawdad, you ever put crawfish
Yes,
in
sir,
your cornbread?
I love cooking. What you want?
I want some crawfish in my cornbread.
That sounds good.
Some
Now,
scallions.
hold on. Do you know, it's been about 24 years ago, 25 years ago, Justin Wilson died. You know, he's gone, but you can probably still find him because of the AE or IE or whatever the internet is. Justin Wilson, Southern America.
I got a cookbook from him.
Oh, nice.
I guarantee. Now, I would sit and watch that show. If I was busy, and I turn the TV, and there's PBS, Justin Wilson, I got to stop and pay attention to what that man was talking about. You talk about some good old Cajun soul food, because you're going to need some more wine, chicken, you need potatoes, all that good stuff. And the show, now you said you have a cookbook, or you have one of them.
I want to say it's a obnoxious yellow color.
Someone a minute ago was talking about etouffee. Who was that said something about shrimp or etouffee? What are we talking about there?
Po' boy.
I mean, we talk, Cajun, Acadian, whatever you want, Creole.
All of it's good.
Yeah. We start at home and work to New Orleans if you want to.
Yes, sir. I tell you, the reason I used the name Crawdad for a long time, because I took Mom to dinner one time up at the Catfish House, and we're sitting there, and I was holding the Crawdad, and I was waving it at her, saying, "I'm gonna play with my food, Mom. You're not, I'm not supposed to play with food. Put that down. Don't do that." So I'm sitting there, and I'm like waving the little claws at her. Eat me, eat me. I do it because I remember my mom when she would have so much fun going out, sitting down to the table with family on a birthday and sharing what you guys were talking about. Nobody does that anymore. So thank you for helping me remember things.
God bless Crawdad. Happy to do it.
Thank you very much.
272-9228 if you want to get in on the conversation. That's 334-272-9228. What's that look on your face?
Well, I told you the last time I was here, or time before last, that I was in my Martha Stewart era.
Yes,
I've been cooking with my sourdough.
Okay.
Well, I now have raised bed planters, and I'm doing vegetables and fruits and things.
Wow.
I know. So I'm hoping that maybe I'll have enough produce and fun things that I can bring.
Planter.
So instead of planting it directly in the ground, you just have
raised
it
up off the ground.
And it's easier to control.
Okay.
Yeah.
You doing tomatoes?
Yeah, I haven't planted yet because I'm waiting until after Good Friday.
Okay.
To make sure we're done with all the cold and all that kind of stuff. But I'm gonna do tomatoes and peppers, cucumbers.
Ooh, nice.
All the fun stuff. Yeah, I got some strawberry plants already. Boys are having fun with that. But yeah.
Yeah, like my mother insisted on. We had like full-on rosemary bushes.
Yeah.
The dogs love it. They really love it. And neighborhood's cats too. But then she had a whole herb garden.
Oh yeah.
And yeah, that made like some chicken thigh that's just normal from the grocery store. You put like fresh thyme and rosemary underneath the skin. That makes that pretty good.
And there's certain herbs like that you can partner with vegetables to keep bugs away. So. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Though I do remember I'm sitting out there by the fire pit with all my buddies in high school. And my dad's trying to prepare some meal inside, and he walks out there and kind of with scissors and like clips off like a bunch of rosemary and well, the guys must have just looked at him. He's like, "Hey boys," goes inside. Like, yeah, apple doesn't fall far from the tree. Anyway, we got to hit a break first. This part of the program brought to you by Bo Goodson and the Goodson Group, and there at the Goodson Group, Bo and his team are ready to help you. If you're looking to buy or sell here in the Montgomery and surrounding areas, buy or sell what, Joey? A house, property. If you are looking to buy or sell in the River Region real estate market, Bo Goodson can help you. And not only can they help you with buying and selling your property, but they have management services available should you want to rent out your home, which is a great idea in this market. But get somebody who actually has experience, a team that actually has experience managing property before you try to learn on the fly. So y'all check out the Goodson Group today. You can always learn more at theGoodsonGroup.com or give them a call direct at 551-0225. That's 551-0225. Bo Goodson and the Goodson Group.
He may not know whether he's coming or going, but whether you're going to work or coming home, Greg Budell is there. Mornings 6 till 9 and afternoons 3 till 6. Only on News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
Hi, I'm Carl Schmidt, naturopath and owner of the Herb Shop Wellness Center at 8161 Vaughan Road. You know, with over 30 years experience in natural wellness, I've seen countless health fads come and go. A few years ago, we added a patented technology that actually activates your stem cells. It reverses the aging process at the cellular level. However, you do need proper hydration and targeted nutrition. At the Herb Shop, our advanced scanning and testing technology allows us to accurately assess your nutritional needs and get a customized plan for you. Come in today and see what the Herb Shop can do for you.
What's your biggest investment? More than likely, it's your home. So treat it that way when you hire a painting contractor. With PBS Painting, there are no gimmicks, no $99 specials. Just quality painting and someone who treats your home with the same respect that you do. At PBS Painting, we have been painting for years and look forward to many more years to come. With PBS Painting, the job gets prepped properly, whether it's cleaning, scraping, or priming. We always use quality products, which is a must for a quality paint job. So if you're looking for a painter that doesn't need upfront money and is on the job at all times, then please give me a call. Scott Bowers and PBS Painting, 294-5122. That's PBS Painting, 294-5122. Look at some of our work on Facebook at PBS Painting Montgomery.
For too long, Alabama's statewide news companies have shamed us for our conservative Christian values. Alabama deserves a news company that cherishes our culture, a company that isn't bought and paid for by the powers that be. 1819 News is that company. Run by Alabamians for Alabamians, 1819 News celebrates what is good and beautiful about our state, while exposing those who work against our values in secret. Just go to 1819news.com to learn more. Subscribe to our newsletter. That's 1819news.com.
Join Blue Water Broadcasting for Warm Hearts for Seniors. We're teaming up to collect badly needed supplies for the Central Alabama Aging Consortium, serving seniors and disabled adults across Autauga, Elmore, and Montgomery counties. Drop off items like cleaning supplies, blankets, fans, meal replacement shakes, stretch bands, and stress balls at Southern Metal Supply of Prattville. For buildings as strong as your dreams. Catch us live on location from March 2nd through March 13th. Let's show the river region what warm hearts can do. Visit us at bluewaterbroadcasting.com and help us make a difference today.
This hour of News and Views is brought to you by our good friends at Cole Plumbing, 279-8919. Cole Plumbing is number one in the number two business. You don't have to dig a hole. They have proprietary pipelining technology. Ask them about their tankless water heaters. Remember, when you have trouble with your bowl, call on Cole.
Alabama weather will never fail to surprise you. Our lawns hardly get a chance to have any downtime. This year, save the hard work and aggravation and call Alabama Lawns, the River Region's leader in weed control and fertilization services. What makes Alabama Lawns the River Region's best? It's the people. They have the experience, education, and commitment to customer satisfaction. Ask your neighbors. Alabama Lawns has been the Montgomery Advertiser's Reader's Choice Award winner 14 years in a row. The Alabama Lawn staff is made up of long-term employees and agronomy graduates, and the staff at Alabama Lawns attend annual continuing education classes. It pays to have someone that knows southern grass types and how to keep them green and flourishing. Call Alabama Lawns today at 272-7171 and let them show you real value in lawn maintenance service. Alabama Lawns, the company with black trucks and green lawns.
This is your roving reporter. Today I'm talking with a prospector.
That's right, man. I'm prospecting for gold. You dig?
No, but it looks like you do.
And you know the first thing I'm going to do when I strike it rich?
What's that?
I'm going to hire David Ernest to be my money man.
You mean everyone's favorite asset preservationist?
That is correct, man. I'm going to call him up at 833-596-7233. 833-596-SAFE.
You know, I've heard a lot of good things about David Ernest.
You know, he's the best money man around with over 40 years of experience.
Experience is necessary, especially when you're digging for gold.
That's right, man.
And I can see that you don't have very much experience.
What do you mean, man?
Well, you have the little plastic bucket and shovel like a kid would take to the beach.
Yeah, man. Well, I want to start out small and kind of pace myself up until I strike it rich.
Well, maybe you should call David Ernest first.
You think he's got a shovel?
Never know till you ask.
I dig, man.
Join us tomorrow from noon to 1 at Premier Portable Buildings, 1690 South Memorial Drive in Prattville for our Warm Hearts for Seniors supply drive. Drop off much needed supplies to benefit the Central Alabama Aging Consortium.
Rich Thomas Weather brought to you by M&M Outdoors. Book your stay today at MNMCampground.com for relaxation at its best. It's easy to find and hard to leave. M&M Outdoors, your home away from home.
Rich Thomas Weather.
Well, hi, everybody. Our very warm weather pattern continues for now, but big changes ahead. Tonight, dry, very mild. Overnight low temperature down to about 64. Tomorrow, Wednesday, I think we make it to the mid-80s one more time. Risk of showers and thunderstorms begins late Wednesday afternoon, more likely Wednesday evening and night. Some of the storms could be strong, possibly severe. That includes all modes of severe weather, including maybe some isolated tornadoes. Then look for a significant temperature drop on Thursday with a high only in the lower 60s. We'll be down into the upper 30s, I think, by dawn Friday morning. From the Blue Water Weather Center, this is Rich Thomas.
Budget Floors and More has the best prices. Carpet as low as 69 cents per square foot. LVP starting at $1.29 a square foot. Sheet vinyl as low as 65 cents per square foot. And the lowest prices on flooring installation supplies. Budget Floors and More across from Delray Publix.
Live local talk. The River Region's only 24-hour News Talk FM station. News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
Joey Clark.
Welcome back. Byron Sheehy at the scoop. Madeline Cannon's still here in the studio with me.
Still here.
And before I forget, Greg just sent me this, Greg Poole. There's a big old meeting tonight at Sinclair's East, the Republican Club of Central Alabama. Meeting tonight at 6 p.m. Jay Mitchell, who's running for Attorney General, Caroline Dobson, who's running for Secretary of State, Jeremy Oden, running for Place 1 for the Public Service Commission. They will be there at, again, Sinclair's East this evening at 6 p.m. So, get by. Maybe get by early. Get it early. Talk about good, like the she crab soup over there is still awesome at Sinclair's.
I've never had it, but I hear it's
so
all
good.
the rage.
It's so good. But yeah, y'all get by for the Republican Club of Central Alabama and go meet some of these candidates in person. Of course, you can always listen to interviews we do and whatnot, but there's nothing like actually getting a sense of somebody, look them in the eye, shake their hand, get to know them a little bit in that way. Now, another fellow running for Public Service Commission, and I very much like that he's running for Public Service Commission to make him a little nervous because he's a true populist, is Jim Ziegler.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. He's Jim, I love that guy. I need to get him on the show. But he says Alabama families shouldn't pay the bill for data centers' electricity demands. So I'm like, here. No wonder there was that bill to make the Public Service Commission appointed instead of elected. Because you might actually end up with more and more populist candidates who have, say, statewide support. So I think Ziegler's onto something, and that continues to be an issue that is not going away despite all the promises from the Trump administration and senators and people running for governor and stuff is, I don't like these data centers in my own backyard. And I do not want to pay higher power bills because of it. And the folks in charge better pay attention because that ain't going away. Let's go to line 1. You're on there. Who's this?
Oh, it's just me, Joey.
Hey, how are you doing?
Madeline, did you refer to me as a crotch? What did you say, a hater?
This is the crockpot caller.
I was just trying to give you constructive criticism to keep you away from casserole divorce syndrome. Statistics show wives that feed their husbands casseroles are twice as likely to get divorced.
Oh,
so
goodness.
I was trying to strengthen your marriage, and I'm a hater. And I told you that one sniff of that damn sourdough starter, you would be raised bed. You admitted it, raised bed gardens. Now it's chickens, then it's quails. You got to have honeybees when you got that. Come on.
I know. The only thing that's slowing me down is the HOA.
Well, tell them you pay the damn property taxes. Do what you want to, or get out of that hoity-toity neighborhood. Probably the best thing for you. If they tell you what color you can paint your front door, you don't need to live there.
I hear you.
But it just proves my point. Repeat after me. My name's Madeline. I'm an addict.
They'll take that clip and run it.
You got to admit the problem before, and it's your husband. I tried to tell you. He's the one who built the raised bed garden. Tell the truth.
Well, it actually was not him.
Oh, you got money to hire folks to do that stuff? I didn't realize that. There's money in the mortgage business, man. If husbands can escape physical manual labor.
Well, just this time.
Oh, it's coming. It's absolutely. But hey, the one meal, all right, sourdough pizza crust, extra virgin olive oil, truffle oil, dehydrated figs that I grew. You got the prosciutto, which is basically country salt cured ham that I cured. You put that with a little goat milk cheese, throw it on the big green egg.
Yum.
It will, yes. That's the number one requested when the family gets together. And no, we don't stare at cell phones when we eat. I ask them to leave them in the car, and they oblige. And we don't watch TV while we eat. We actually look at each other and have a conversation.
Love it.
The younger generation tends to not agree with the older generation. And until Google, I was brilliant. I was as smart as Joey because I could quote scripture and Shakespeare, and now they can just look it up and go, "You full of crap. You don't know what you're talking about."
Well, I think that, number one, that sounds delicious, what you just described. Man, that sounds really, really good.
It does.
And the number two request is seafood gumbo. So
Yummy.
ever shrimp, ever fish, ever crab, and we have won, or she has won. They have a local competition down in Fairhope at the Bay, and she's won it 3 years. This last year, I think she threw it because the lady that was her main competition had terminal cancer. So I think she let her win it that time, but I would never tell her that. So.
Well, you sure have benefited from your wife's little addictions.
Yes, you charge her. You got to pay. It comes at a price. It took me a while to figure that out, but they will prostitute themselves when they're an addict. You know that. I'm trying to help you not become that person. And then you want to call me a hater. I'm hurt. I'm just literally, I'm not sure that I'm going to be able to. I may never listen to Joey again. It's all his fault.
I can hear it.
I know that's not the case.
No, I'm worried about him. Well, I appreciate it, Jessica. See you, man. Well, because I got to hit a break here in a second. But, man, yeah, there is something about the getting the family around the kitchen table and actually looking each other in the eye, having a conversation. And if somebody can actually cook, then it's all right. Now, there's sometimes the, be nice and just eat it.
Mm-hmm.
There are a few things I'm trying to remember that were made that I wasn't a huge fan of, but well, I just told you one off air. Like whenever it was some like pear cottage cheese thing, well, what in the world is this?
Now, I will say my husband's a way better cook than I am.
Oh, really?
Yes, and he really enjoys it. I mean, I'll do it.
What's your favorite thing he makes?
I mean, he's a grill master. Anything,
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah. Oh, it's hard to beat a really good piece of meat.
Yeah.
Seriously.
Yeah.
I didn't mean it that way.
I know, but that's how it sounded.
Yeah. Yeah. No, seriously, like it's just a great piece of steak. The problem is beef is through the roof. Talking about prices, and
a pound of ground beef is like what, $9?
Right. And I'm starting to think in the same way that the gas prices are ridiculous. It's a scam. But the beef prices are a bit of a scam.
Well, we buy our beef from a local farmer.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. See,
That's
I'm
the way
not
to
that
get it done.
bad.
That's
I
the way
don't
to
have
get
my own cows yet, sir.
272-9228. 334-272-9228. We got to hit this last break. But before we do, this part of the program brought to you by Josh and Leslie Ryder. They're at Dillon Rings. And at Dillon Rings, they are, well, ready to help you out as a full-service jewelry shop. Could be you're looking for something out of their great inventory, like we spotlighted earlier today. Truly amazing stuff they have there already, just ready to be purchased, ready to go. Or it could be you're looking for repair work, or maybe you have jewelry you wear all the time, and it looks like you've been wearing it all the time for years. What if it could shine and shimmer like it's brand new again? They can do all that there at Dillon Rings, and don't forget the custom design work. There's nobody better than Josh Ryder. That man is a true artist that really does beautiful work. I've seen him, pieces that are just kind of an idea that he made happen, or somebody inherits two different pieces of jewelry. It's a little out of style, and they want to update it, and then he can make something out of it. He's very easy to work with. So y'all get by Dillon Rings today. That's 119 Brown Springs Road here in Montgomery, just off Atlanta Highway, and be sure to tell them that Joey, that fella on the radio, sent you.
Want to carry News Talk in your pocket? Download the News Talk 93.1 app from the App Store. Available on iPhone and Android. Never miss a moment. Download now.
When it's time to replace an old window or door, you want expert craftsmanship and proven experience. You want Davis Door & Sash. Right now, take advantage of our limited time promotion. 10% off materials on new energy-efficient doors and windows. Voted best in the River region for windows and installation in 2024 and 25. Davis Door & Sash would love to work for you. Call 334-288-6010 or visit davisdoorandsashalabama.com. Davis Door & Sash, the perfect fit for your home.
This is Matt Woodham with Woodham Southside Firestone. As a businessman, you need to watch your advertising dollar. We've been using Blue Water Broadcasting for many years. Blue Water Broadcasting is the biggest bang for your buck. Blue Water Broadcasting and Woodham Southside Firestone, a great combination.
Blue Water Broadcasting is the #1 most listened to radio group in the River region. Find out how to put this reach to work for your business. Call us to find out how we can help. Blue Water Broadcasting. Local folks helping local business.
This hour of News and Views is brought to you by our good friends at Cole Plumbing, 279-8919. Cole Plumbing is #1 in the #2 business. You don't have to dig a hole. They have proprietary pipelining technology. Ask them about their tankless water heaters. Remember, when you have trouble with your bowl, call on Cole.
On FM, on your smartphone, and online, the River Region's most trusted voice. News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
Joey Clark.
Welcome back. Let's go right to the phones and talk to Ray Bowles from Brattville Carpet. Hey, Ray, how you doing?
Man, we have been busy. I know I've said that every day this week, but oh my word, I'm going to maybe have to go back to 3 days a week with you guys. Y'all are trying to kill me.
Busy's good.
I thought that was the whole point of doing this, that you're busy.
I'm actually doing that for all the business owners listening to me. If you're not advertising with Joey, y'all are idiots.
Amen. Amen, brother.
What a testimonial.
Now, tomorrow I might not have this much pep in my step because I am going to go to Hardaway tomorrow and try to figure out where the turkeys are. So that means I'm going to be getting up at 3:30. And by now, I'll be really tired.
Well, and this is this is the hunting season that you really look forward to, right?
Oh, absolutely. I'm all about a turkey. The turkeys will ruin deer hunting for you. You can't really sit in the tree and say, come here, deer, 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 deer. It don't work. But you can gobble all day long and they'll just run right up to you to see what you're doing. Then you blow their sorry heads off. It's awesome.
Well, best of luck with all that starting.
And if y'all need a floor, call us, 285-8117. These prices are ridiculous. The sales are wonderful that Mohawk has set up. I was over looking at a bathroom remodel today, so if you have a bathroom remodel, we can do that for you. Garage epoxy floors, we can do that. Kitchen remodels, you name it, we can do it. Call us, 285-8117.
Again, that's 285-8117, and be sure to tell them you heard them on the radio with that Joey Clark fellow.
All right, Joey, we'll see y'all.
Thanks, Ray. So what did we learn today? Oh, well, we learned that Governor Kay Ivey commuted the death sentence of Charles Sonny Lee Burton. He was to be put to death
Thursday.
Yeah. And now his sentence has been commuted to life in prison without parole. Yes, just 2 days before he was set to be put to death. The Attorney General is now speaking out saying, I'm deeply disappointed to learn that Governor Ivey has commuted the death sentence of Sonny Burton. The murder of Doug Battle was senseless and tragic, and this decision does not diminish the profound loss felt by the Battle family. I pray they find peace and closure, Ivey said in her statement when she put out the commutation publicly. Steve Marshall said, while the media has done its best to paint Mr. Burton as a harmless, decrepit old man, he's a murderer. He organized an armed robbery, held a gun to a store manager's head, and callously doled out the proceeds of the robbery once Doug Battle, an Army veteran, was dead. Burton was a career criminal before he became a murderer, and the jury rightfully held him responsible for the death that he caused. Long-standing Alabama law recognizes accomplice liability, as has every judge that has ever touched this case over 3 decades. There's never been any doubt that Sonny Burton has Doug Battle's blood on his hands. The Attorney General strongly stood in opposition to the commutation, saying Burton should have been put to death a long time ago. Burton does not deserve special treatment because he's old. He could have been executed a long time ago, but like many death row inmates, he chose to drag out his case through endless frivolous appeals. I firmly believe that he should have faced the punishment imposed by a jury of his peers and upheld by numerous judges. I do not want today's result to cause Alabamians to lose faith in our justice system, Attorney General Marshall went on to say. For as long as I am Attorney General, I will not shy away from calling evil evil and will do everything in my power to ensure that violence perpetrated against innocent Alabamians is punished mightily and without hesitation. Governor Ivey emphasized Burton will spend the rest of his life behind bars for his part in the robbery of the victim, the same sentence as the trigger man. This is what Ivey said. I cannot proceed in good conscience with the execution of Mr. Burton under such disparate circumstances. I believe it would be unjust for one participant in this crime to be executed while the participant who pulled the trigger was not. Ivey thanked the Attorney General's Capital Litigation Division for their work defending Burton's convictions and sentence. So, to be expected, but to me the fact that Burton is old and decrepit wasn't the point of the case to me. And when I looked at this and presented this, at least in my own way, I presented the crime first. Mm-hmm. And perhaps I would love to hear the AG or anybody in that office speak to why was the guy who pulled the trigger, Derek DeBruce, why did the federal courts overturn his sentence? Why? Because once that happened, once the guy who actually killed Doug Battle is now no longer going to be put to death by the state of Alabama, I think there is a major disparity with the accomplice that day. And you could get into the particulars of the case and all that stuff, but I think there's just the basic disparity. I agree with the governor. It was enough to change my mind. I would not have done it. But I'll put it this way. I was ready for a decision either way. That I, number one, prayed that Kay Ivey would carry the sword of authority like a cross. That is a heavy burden and decision to make. And that we should at least pump the brakes a little bit, though we can disagree on it on those who actually wield that responsibility. There's a lot to this case. A lot of people were praying from a crossface on behalf of Sonny Burton that the governor would make this decision today, and that's the decision that Governor Ivey made. And I appreciated it. But I also wanted to give the other side and perspective there, as we just read from the Attorney General of the great state of Alabama, Steve Marshall, who, by the way, is also running for United States Senate. We shall see if he can get into a runoff with Congressman Barry Moore. Anyway, did we learn anything today, like about the war? Or I think the best segment was on the food.
Yeah,
the most wholesome segment was definitely on the food. Yeah, because, you know, that's the nature of, like, the news these days. I mean, you occasionally see something that's just wonderful and endearing and warms your heart, but most of the stuff that makes the news, like I'm looking at top trending stuff at 1819 right now, city of Arab scammed out of nearly $500,000 taxpayer dollars. Isn't that wholesome? Stop giving your rights away to these idiots, said a Huntsville school board member, slamming the legislature over advancing a 10 Commandments bill to display the 10 Commandments in a public place in a public school. And Yeah, it's often like so-and-so destroys so-and-so, so-and-so, blah, 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 blah. So God bless RFK Jr. for at least giving us a moment of maybe, and I think also in a practical way, maybe a lot of these problems we see, if families were sitting down for dinner and had that ritual still going, you wouldn't see these problems cropping up in the same way.
I agree.
Just a thought for ending the day, but I appreciate you hanging out.
It's always a fun time, Joey.
Yes, it is. And I'll tell Eddie you said hi.
Okay, please do.
Yeah, he said hi back. He texted and stuff, or I don't know if he texted you. And
he did.
Okay.
I told him I'm starting to think that every time I come, he just decides he's not going to be here.
I know. It's a little, I'm noticing the same thing.
The pattern, yeah.
There's a pattern. There's definitely a pattern. Y'all stay tuned. Happy Hour with Greg Budell. He's next.
Broadcasting from the Riverside Chevrolet Master Control Center, this is WACV Cusana, News Talk 93.1 FM. When it's Chevy, it's Riverside.
With SRN News, I'm John Scott. War Secretary Pete Hegseth said today would be the most intense day yet of U.S. strikes inside Iraq.